Hello, everybody, and welcome to The Night Owl, a show that we do twice a week where we discuss all the latest in pop culture news, TV and movie reviews, gaming reviews, and just the general conversations of the today. Just the general conversations of the day. I had one job just to say that
We're
sentence.
gonna get there. We're gonna get there, Price.
We're
It's
going to get
okay.
there. It's a late hour. I was
Yeah.
slurping on my coffee, and I don't know how that came out that way. But for those who don't know, I'm Price of Reason, and with me, as always, is Professor R2. How's it going, Professor?
I'm here.
You
I
sound like you're here.
yeah, no,
And
I'm here. It's been a very busy day, so I'm
and
glad to
by
be
the
here.
way, it's hard for me to highlight this, but I just want to say that Mary White gifted 5 Price of Reason Live memberships
Yes,
on
thank you, Mary
uh,
White.
on YouTube, and we even had some people that carried over from the previous stream here. So it's nice to see you all here on YouTube. Uh, like on the YouTube side, there's also a lot of people on the Rumble side. This is, of course, a Rumble-driven show. Rumble is our headquarters, and we love Rumble because they support freedom of speech. And whenever we do a stream, there's a lot of platforms that we worry about. Can we say this? Can we say that? Never have that problem with Rumble. That are always so supportive of just us shooting the breeze and having this kind of late night conversation. So that's really where our headquarters is for the show. But of course, we also through Rumble Studio, we broadcast it to different platforms. So wherever you're watching this, we hope that you're having a great evening. And on Rumble, if you're watching it through an app, you should definitely sign up for Rumble if you're not already signed up. And when you do, you should also follow us so you can get notifications and you know whenever we're streaming and all that good stuff. And with all of that out of the way, there's certainly a lot of stuff going on these days, isn't there?
Oh, it never stops, Price. There's just one thing after another. Trump is, if anything, he's not boring.
No, he's not boring at
We
all.
we're getting, we're getting all sorts of stuff out of him just every single day, right? We've got the tariff stuff going on, and then there's everything going on with the interest rates and what he's, stuff he's said about, the chief of the Fed, and man, it's just, yeah, one thing after another.
It's crazy. But the thing with the Fed, we'll get to that. But
Yeah.
that has been something that from day one, from the second that even before I think he was sworn in, you could tell that that guy kind of is annoying him. From day one, that guy has been annoying him. It's funny because he's the one that appointed him, if I'm not mistaken, right? Isn't that an appointment of Trump, Powell?
I don't remember. I think he may have been there before.
I feel
Well,
like
no.
Trump appointed him, which is a shame because that guy, I don't know. I myself, listen, I'm not claiming that I'm the number one finance guy or expert or whatever, but that guy, he holds so much power with the cutting of the interest rates, and I just this whole ceremony of everybody waiting around for this guy to say if he's going to cut the interest or he's not, and every time everybody's expecting him to cut it, and then he's like, "No, I don't feel like cutting it." You know what I mean? I'll tell you. Do you remember the movie The Naked Gun?
Oh, of course.
Remember the part that Leslie Nielsen like takes over the umpire? He pretends like he's the umpire and he's just
Yes.
annoying everybody. That's what I feel like Powell is. He's just standing there and just annoying everybody with his calls. Like maybe there's something to it, but I feel like sometimes I feel like the guy really relishes his role. And that everybody's just waiting and begging him to like do the thing with the cutting the interest rates. You could argue that there's more to it than what I'm saying, but I don't know. I don't know if it's this guy specifically or just this whole Fed with the rates that sometimes I think is annoying. But I kind of understand Trump. It's a strange situation, but I kind of understand him.
Yeah, the whole thing with the rates is a really complex, economic thing that they deal with. They want to be able to use the interest rates to kind of either cool down or heat up the interest in the market, and it changes how mortgage rates and the loans that businesses can take out. And so yeah, they want to use that to manage the economy, help to work and manage the inflation and a variety of other things in the economy. So yeah, it's a complex issue. Whether or not it is appropriate at this time to change interest rates, I don't know. Obviously, there's some parts of the market that are not responding positively to some of the changes that Trump has made. Right, not responding positively to all of the uncertainty dealing with the tariffs, and so perhaps it is a little early to change those things. But I don't think it's
Even
going to
before he
hurt.
did the tariffs, let me put it this way, even before Trump did the tariffs, that guy wouldn't lower the rates. I feel like I agree with you. I understand that the tariffs caused uncertainty. I think a lot of people don't know what's going to happen to where Trump and his people need to negotiate with a lot of these countries and reach trade deals with them. And I think that that will add to certainty rather than uncertainty. But
Yes.
even before he ever started doing the tariffs thing, uh, Jerome Powell is very stingy with the cutting of the interest rates. That's what I feel.
Yeah.
And I do feel like he could have done more. Forget it, even before Trump went into office. And I feel like he, everybody's waiting on him in a way that annoys me. It's like this one guy is just sitting there, and everybody's just hoping that he'll say that he'll cut the rates. It's there's something about it that annoys me. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah. Well, it's not only the Fed chair. It's not just Jerome Powell. There is actually a board. It's the Federal Reserve Board of Governors. There's a number of people that are part of this group that does look at a lot of different things to determine whether or not they're going to make those changes. Uh, are they always friendly to the person who's in office? Not necessarily, right?
Not necessarily. And there's something about this guy that annoys me, even though I don't have anything to back it up. You could say, well, he's trying to be responsible, he's fiscally responsible, there's a board of governors and all that stuff. And maybe that's all true. But I somehow found myself understanding why Trump feels like this guy probably should have already done something. Maybe the tariffs caused the uncertainty, but even prior to that, this guy was very slow. And each time you're waiting for him to say something, and he's like, well, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe we wait more. We wait more. Like I just think he's annoying. I don't know why. There's probably a better scientific explanation as to why this guy annoys me a bit, but I kind of feel he annoys me.
We all have those personalities that just kind of drive us up the wall, right? There's just something about the way that they carry themselves or the way they speak or whatever that really gets under our skins.
You know why? You know why? Because I think that he relishes being in the position that he's in. Do you get what I'm saying?
I can see that. Yeah. Yeah.
That's why I gave you the umpire slash Enrico Palazzo example from the Naked Gun, because much like Frank Drebin starts getting into the feeling that he's the umpire and just starts saying a bunch of crazy shot like calls that annoys everybody. I feel like this guy, and maybe a lot of people, you put them in a position of power and they start getting really comfortable with that situation that they're the ones that are calling the shots. And you get this feeling that maybe they're enjoying this a bit too much. But
That's very
maybe I'm
possible.
wrong. I could be wrong. That's just my opinion.
Yep.
Jimmy Nature says time to end the Fed Bank and the IRS. Listen, I mean, Price of Reasoning gave a $5 super chat and a 99-cent super sticker.
Oh, we do have some super chats. We have the dead man
I
who gave
see.
some stuff.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna finish up the topic and then bring it back. Those were given before we got started. So
No problem.
yeah.
And thank you, Mary White, for bringing it up. Always, appreciate you hanging out with us and giving us that information. And yeah, I'm gonna make sure to open a window here so that I don't miss stuff like that. Yes, there's absolutely one from the dead man for $5 where he says, "Price, by the time you get this, I will likely be asleep. Enjoy the incoming super sticker." And then the second one, the dead man, it's a poop emoji, and I'm going to share the screen just so everybody can see it because we always do appreciate when people send us any kind of super chat or rumble rant or whatever it is, and we're very grateful. And the dead man is a friend of the channel. Yes, Marlo Sharondoff, he did send a poop emoji. Hold on. Uh, can you see it?
Oh nope, presentation mode.
Oh,
Yes, yeah.
presentation. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Only the best technology here at the Night Owl. Uh, okay, so Price, by the time you get this, I'll likely be asleep enjoying the incoming super sticker. I hope you're still awake and that maybe you didn't fall asleep yet. We do appreciate the stickers and the poop emoji sticker and Mary White. We appreciate your 5 Price of Reason Live gift memberships. Really, really appreciate that. Very, very nice of you. We love that. And then How did we even get to talking about Trump and the Fed?
Oh,
Because maybe
I
he
just kinda mentioned it of some of the stories that had come
right,
up
he
today,
tweeted
and
because I think didn't he tweet today? He's like, "Too late, Jerome." Like he gave him the nickname.
yes, yeah, he's been really tearing into him the last
Right.
couple of days,
You,
about the
you,
interest rates and whatnot.
you know why? Because again, maybe you need these checks and balances. Maybe there's a reason that guy is there, and maybe there's a reason he's doing what he's doing. But somehow, for some reason that I don't always say this. I actually sometimes I'm more of like a pragmatist, and in this case, for some reason, I kind of agree with Trump. I don't know why. That guy. You know why? Because even before Trump took office, whether the first time he was there, whether Biden was there, this guy always there's something with him in these rates that he like I said, it's like I don't want to say that I feel like he's on a power trip with these rates, that he's enjoying it a bit too much. That's the feeling that I get from him. Let's see what Trump said about him. Uh, he had some interesting things to say, Trump. Let's see. Okay, here. Do you see it?
Yep.
The ECB is expected to cut interest rates for the seventh time, and yet too late, Jerome Powell of the Fed, who's always too late and wrong, yesterday issued a report which was another and typical complete mess. Oil prices are down, groceries, even eggs are down, and the USA is getting rich on tariffs. Too late should have lowered interest rates, like the ECB long ago, but he should certainly lower them now. Powell's termination cannot come fast enough. The thing is that I don't know if Trump can fire him, but the fact that he's even mentioning this,
Yeah.
I feel like he's really trying to increase the heat under this guy's ass.
Yeah, Trump being able to terminate him is definitely very iffy. He could obviously ask him to leave. He could make things really uncomfortable for him or whatever. But you'd have to look at some legislation somewhere to see if that would
There
be
was
something
another
that
guy
he
that
would be able to do.
the second Trump arrived, the guy that hated crypto, Gensler, whatever his name is, the second that Trump arrived, he got rid of that guy, and I don't know how.
Yeah,
He was also from like Jerome Powell's like crew, wasn't he?
I do not remember
Gensler, is that his name?
Gensler. Um,
Uh, the,
yeah, Gary Gensler. Yeah, he was the SEC chair.
yes,
Yeah,
he
yeah,
was.
head of the Securities and Exchange Commission.
That guy, like along with Powell, annoyed me also. These two guys annoyed me. Again, not even a political thing. I didn't care if Trump was in there or Biden or whatever it is. These guys, I didn't. This is just my personal opinion. I don't know them. I'm not saying it on a personal level. I'm saying that the way these guys handled their business, I didn't prefer either of these two guys. Gensler, the second Trump arrived, he somehow booted him out, or the guy like
He
resigned.
just left. Yeah, he just resigned the day that Trump was sworn into office. Yeah, he just stepped down.
And the second that he stepped away, the whole crypto market, like had a kind of resurgence just from this guy going away. It's a bit down now because of the tariffs, but I feel like this guy was just uh, doing everything to squash something that was progress that he couldn't stop anyways. Trying to sue a bunch of companies that he didn't need to sue, and he was over the top and annoying. And I think that. One of the most positive things that happened when Trump was elected is that the Gensler guy vanished. But somehow, I think that Trump had hoped that Powell would vanish as well, and that didn't work for him.
Yeah, he stuck it out. There were quite a few people who are actually quite fond of Gensler's choice to leave.
I,
Many people who were very positive behind crypto and did not like some of his policies and the ways that he was running the SEC. I know there were a few people who were quite happy
I'm not going to
that he
lie to you. I
decided to
was
leave.
one of them. I was one of those people. I actually am sort of a pro crypto guy. That's just again, no, not financial advice, not telling people what to do. I personally I like I like that industry. I like crypto, and I think that it's something that it's a part of our future. And this guy, this Gensler guy, was like the old guard. Like every single advancement, every single thing that seems natural and things that should be taken seriously, he was just there like this party pooper, just sitting there and trying to sue companies and be like some little Grinch. And this is just my opinion, of course. So Gensler, didn't prefer the guy. And I feel like Powell, maybe in a different way, maybe not as bad as Gensler, but Powell is cut from the same cloth. Like there's something about how he handles and does things that I don't love either. So both of these guys, I actually had hoped prior to Trump's arrival that they'd both leave and be replaced. But we only got lucky with Gensler, whereas Powell is still there.
Yeah, Powell's
Maybe
still
Powell is
sticking it out.
okay. I don't know if you like Powell. That's fine.
Oh,
I
I
don't know
I
how.
don't have any opinion one way or the other. I do think perhaps he and the board have been a little bit too cautious about bringing down the interest rates. Clearly, we have managed to impact through various policies, that have been happening, and just in improvement in the overall economy, we have been able to bring down the rates of inflation. So there's really no reason we can't continue to bring down some of those rates from the Fed. That is going to improve the stock market. When those rates come down, businesses can afford to get loans. Then they can afford to expand. They can afford to hire more people. They can afford to, bring in more equipment because much of those things are all going to be purchased on business loans. And when you don't have those, you can't finish things. It's funny. We were talking about there. There were a couple of restaurants in in our town that they announced and they started to like renovating and everything, and then around 2022 they just stopped. Like they kept the property, signs were up there, and it was just an opening soon, nothing happened. And we were just kind of laughing about all this that happened. I said, well, it was the interest rates. The businesses that were going to come in there needed to continue to bring in some more money. They needed to be able to get loans, and the interest rates got so high that they could no longer afford to take out those loans. It was going to cost them too much money. And then as the loans have become more affordable, as the interest rates have been coming down over the past year, especially uh, you know since Trump won the election and has come into office, now some of those businesses now can look at the math and say, okay, I can get a loan that for my business and I can afford it. And so these restaurants have finally opened up almost in the same week, right? So it's kind of funny that yes, that is going to fuel more business. It's going to help the stock market recover as businesses are going to be able to do more. And again, I think all of this panic over the tariffs is just too much. It's too much. I understand the markets. They don't like the uncertainty of where this is going, but I can virtually guarantee you that by June, July, most of these tariffs are not going to exist anymore.
I agree with you, and I think that when we had that whole situation with the couve a few years back, initially all the market everybody was panicking, and then people just woke up and got used to a new reality. And I think that people are going to get used to this reality as well. I don't think that this is a situation that forever people are just going to panic all the time. At the end, people panic, but then they just want to go back to doing what they do in the market. And I also think that it seems like Trump has a plan to actually reach a lot of trade deals with people, with different countries, and hopefully he'll just do that sooner rather than later to kind of stabilize the situation. But yeah, I mean, I think it would be nice if interest rates, if the Fed cut interest rates. That's just my opinion, and yeah. Quickly, what was I going to say? There was something I wanted to say. Oh, Bush McFadden, member for 3 months. Thank you, Bush. He's a leaper.
Yes,
Thank you.
wonderful,
That is
Boosh.
greatly
It's
appreciated.
and it's good to see you here, Boosh.
Good to see you, and thank you. So there was that. And then, and I think this is a good segue to our kind of first headline here. And before we do, just somebody asked me here why Asmongold appears on the thumbnail. Because something happened today that he made some comments in the past few days that people were complaining about. I just wanted to kind of address his comments and just kind of have a little conversation about that in more the gaming section later on in the stream. That's why we put it here. We talk about a lot of different issues and topics, and that's just something that we wanted to touch upon. That'll be later, of course.
Yeah, we don't have a guest spot from Asmongold.
No, he's not going to be here. If somebody's wondering if Asmongold is going to be here, he's not going to be here. At least I don't think he is. I mean, stranger things have happened, but yeah. So I guess back to California. Because of all these tariffs, and we were talking about people panicking, and Trump already gave them a name, like panicans. I think that's what he called it. He's funny. If nothing else, Trump is funny. Trump is just like he is. No matter what's happening, there's something entertaining about his. You know, even if you didn't vote for him, even if you did vote for him, I think the guy is entertaining. You can't take that away from him.
What did you say he called them?
Panicans.
Panicans.
That was no. He had like a term. He's like, oh, they're all panicans. Huge.
That's great.
So
makes me think of Panic and Skywalker. Something.
So in any case, desperate Gavin Newsom sues Trump. So did you see that today?
I did read a bit about this. Yeah. Did you have a particular article you wanted to share? Or?
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at it. It was a lot of stuff. I think I even saw videos of him blabbing online about this. I think I saw a video that he seemed kind of ridiculous to me.
Yeah. Yeah. If you want to find that, we can check that out. It's just so absurd. Yes. I had read a little bit about this earlier today. I'd seen a couple of articles on it, talking about how now, saying that, we're going to sue the federal government. We're going to sue Trump's administration because the tariffs, these are illegal. He doesn't have the right to do this. He doesn't have the authority to, to go in and change these tariffs, and it's threatening jobs, and it's threatening people's livelihoods and all sorts of stuff. I'm sorry, I don't see where he gets the idea that the executive does not have the power, does not have the authority to go in and make these changes. But it's okay, sure, go for it, Gavin.
Gavin Newsom says the state
Can you
short
hear
on
it?
funds for its
Yes.
Medicaid program known as Medi-Cal. The state expanded the program to cover undocumented immigrants. Governor asked lawmakers to approve another $2.8 billion in loans on top of a $3.4 billion loan issued last week. So California now making up a $6.2 billion shortfall in Medi-Cal funds. The money meant to keep the program properly funded through June.
The realities are the realities. You have to balance budgets. We balance our budget. Revenue is holding up. I don't see anything significant along the lines of what some have asserted. But I do see the need to make adjustments and changes broadly in the Medicaid system.
Gavin,
that's what he said yesterday, and this is what he's saying today.
Today, I announced a lawsuit on behalf of the state of California suing the Trump administration. California is the largest manufacturing state in our union, one of the largest trading partners around the globe. No state will be impacted more than the state of California as it relates to the unilateral authority that's being asserted by the Trump administration to impose the largest tax increase in modern American history.
Last week. So California now making up
but it's just like so the person that was writing this, I don't know him, but it's just like Gavin Newsom yesterday. California needs nearly $10 billion in loans to cover the cost of health care for illegal immigrants. Gavin Newsom today, I'm suing Trump for attempting to fiscally damage California. And I think that is rather ridiculous. I don't love this Gavin Newsom guy, to put it mildly. I think that, he's wasted his own state's money. So much money in California. I keep thinking of that train that they've been building. So much money, billions and billions of dollars. They haven't even. It's going nowhere. Where did all that money go to?
Oh, it's just all caught up in corruption and ridiculous amounts of regulation. So it's just taking federal, or not, some federal money that's coming in, but taking a bunch of tax money that's being paid into California and turning around and just giving it to politicians, right?
And illegal immigrants and all
And
this.
then, yeah, of course, yeah, giving all sorts of medical care and stuff like that to illegal immigrants free of charge, right? It's it's fascinating that you could decide that, oh, we're going to be a sanctuary state. We're going to have all these sanctuary cities. Federal government, please come bail us out. Like,
Uh,
it's those things are. It's wild to try and connect those things together.
CC Karaoke says we're having an election in Canada and have to choose between a boring hubris prick who sticks to talking points as much as Bernie, an installed leader no one voted for, a mafia boss, and a Frenchman. None of that sounds very good. Uh, yeah, I mean, for me, the thing that's funny is that you'd think that after that mess with the fires in LA, you'd think, and how he's handled the homeless and the train and the waste of money and the illegal immigration, you'd think that people in California, even ones that are more left, would sort of wake up to this and say, you know what, we've had it with this guy. But I'm not sure that they are waking up. I feel like there are people that have voted for him and they'll vote no matter what happens. Like that whole thing will like catch fire again, and they'll still vote for him again.
Yeah. And there's been, I don't know if you saw the story earlier this week about uh, that there's some people that are deeply worried about California, as they see more and more people fleeing California. That now some people think that LA is going to turn into the next Detroit.
Anything is possible.
People are just going to flee that town, and it's going to be this huge town with all of this infrastructure, and it's going to be empty. It's just
I,
going
I
to be empty buildings and derelict shops and all sorts of stuff for miles.
I don't know if I told you this. I probably did, but maybe I didn't. When I was young, for 2 years, and I'm saying when I was, growing up, it was many, many years ago. For 2 years, I lived in LA, and I really liked it there as a kid. And then as an adult, I from time to time, I did have business out there, so I've spent quite a bit of time there. And there were moments that I thought to myself, and this isn't yesterday, I'm talking like 10, 15 years ago, that I thought to myself, wow, wouldn't it be cool if I moved to LA? Like, I love LA. And today, I wouldn't want to live there at all. Like I am so happy that I don't live there, and that I didn't kind of settle down there or think of like moving there or being there. The fact that it even crossed my mind makes me I'm even though I didn't do it, it worries me that it even crossed my it even crossed my mind to go there. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm. Yeah, yeah.
It used to be like a fun place. There's good weather. The traffic always an issue there, but there's good weather, and it seemed like a fun place. And there were a lot of things to like about it. But man, they have run that state into the ground, and it's such a shame because it really was. It's hard to believe this now, but it was a good place at some point.
Oh, it was it's beautiful country there. Beautiful state. There's lovely vistas, some incredible, natural areas there. I could care less for the cities myself, but that's just me. Some people love the city. I'm not particularly fond of big cities, but it is a lovely state, and there are good people that live there. Of course, we saw the election map this last time around, right? And we saw that most of the state of California, except the really populous area, really populated areas around LA and San Diego and San Francisco and so on, like all of those solid blue. The rest of the state was entirely red, right? So it's interesting how there's these little pockets of the state that got the whole thing locked down, right? And yeah, they've made some absolutely devastating political decisions recently. It's wild.
It's no coincidence. There's a lot of people that left Los Angeles. If you remember, Joe Rogan used to be there. Elon Musk, I believe, used to be there. A lot of people that were
Mhm.
based like in California at some point saw that how it was running and just decided to leave. People didn't take it seriously as it was happening, but it was happening more and more, and a lot of businesses left. A lot of Hollywood productions don't want to be there. There is an exodus of people, whether it's business or just citizens or people or whatever it is, that are leaving. And even a lot of people, and this is the part that kind of is annoying, is that a lot of people that were very kind of far left were encouraging all these kind of riots and things and the robberies and whatever. But when they saw how much it was increasing, they left and went somewhere else. Meaning, you had a lot of celebrities like that too, if you remember, that they were encouraging it, and then when they saw it, they're like, "Well, I'm leaving."
Yeah, of course.
Like now that they've littered the place with their stupid divisive ideologies and ruined the place, now they're like, okay, well, now we'll go somewhere else. And you kind of think to yourself, well, when they go somewhere else, are they going to ruin the new place? And I feel like a lot of people probably in Texas are worried, because certainly like a lot of people suddenly left from California to Texas. I don't know if all of them are you know, have good intentions. Whalem03 says, I'm in California. We didn't vote for him. They cheat. Listen, who knows?
Yeah. Yeah. It's wild. Yeah. Oh,
I see a strange... give me 1 second.
I got it.
You got it?
Yeah. So yeah, here actually I was gonna share this article, because just what we're talking about here. This is the article that I was talking about from the Hollywood Reporter just a couple of days ago. Boris Kitt and Katie Kilkenny at the Hollywood Reporter talking about how we're at risk of seeing Hollywood become the next Detroit Auto. So where it actually talks about this, it says it's not hyperbole to say that if we don't act, the California film and TV industry will become the next Detroit Auto. Noel Stamen, member of Stay in LA campaign, the push for a proposed increase in tax incentives. So talking about giving away more
money, yeah.
more tax money, giving away more tax money to keep these productions around, right? It says it's hitting a critical phase in the legislative process. And one major hurdle is politicians who see the incentives as a corporate giveaway. That's because they are. But what they say is the studios don't care where they do the work. They'll do it anywhere. They're still producing shows. What a lot of our colleagues simply don't understand is that this is a middle-class problem. Studio heads are going to bed in Bel Air no matter what. This is not a tax giveaway. This is a job program, keeping people in their homes, keeping people off the unemployment rolls. So I get what they're going for here, but the truth is that that area is wildly expensive. The middle class people, they can't afford to live there anymore.
Yeah, somebody said in the comments here, I like the comment that somebody made. Argentum said, it's a rough thing for a lot of Californians. Can't afford to leave, but also can't afford to stay. It's a shame that that's what happened to there, because like I said, I say this from experience, both as somebody that lived there many years ago and spent time there due to business things. There is a lot to like about California, and the fact that it's been run so poorly is a shame. And even the fact that we see this in the Hollywood Reporter, this kind of headline and this kind of article really explains how bad the situation is, because the Hollywood Reporter is usually very, it goes with the kind of legacy media, the very left, far left. You'd think that they wouldn't easily admit to something like this, but the fact that they're saying this, that's not a good sign at all.
Yeah.
Meaning, I guess what I'm saying is this isn't like Price of Reason and Professor R2 saying it. This is the Hollywood Reporter. They're as legacy media, far left propaganda pushing as they come, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh, yes, very much so.
The fact that they would admit to this is almost unheard of.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So, it goes on and talks about a bit. They're talking to some other people. ProProd CEO Alex Laverde says these jobs haven't vanished; they've moved. Right? There's a decrease in production in the U.S. And the production is picking up elsewhere, like Australia. And they say, well, we've got to be able to give tax breaks too. Again, the problem is one of the reasons that these productions are moving is it's not about the tax breaks. It's about how affordable it is to actually produce. And they could give some massive tax breaks, but it's still not going to lower the wild cost of producing in LA. It's gotten completely out of control. And so yes, I know that there's a lot of talent there already, but I think that talent is going to be okay picking up and moving, right? I think it's going to be okay picking up and going somewhere else. Yes, it's going to be costly. It's going to be difficult for those people. I hate for anyone to have to leave their homes, right? I hate for anyone to have to, where they grew up, they live there, their kids grew up there. I hate for anyone to have to do that. But it's just gotten absolutely unaffordable in that area, and I see no possibility of that changing in the near future.
I recently saw a movie. It wasn't a very good one, but I think it was called Death of a Unicorn, and it starred Paul Rudd and Jenna Ortega. Not their best movie, not a very good movie. It wasn't very expensive to produce, and I think one of the reasons why they didn't spend a lot of money on it was I believe they produced it and filmed it in like Hungary. Now, when you're watching it, they're not telling you you're in Hungary. They're like, "Oh, like we're in San Diego," or I don't know what they say. You know what I mean? Like they're pretending they're somewhere else. But the fact that you have so many productions that are just like, why don't we go somewhere else to some other country that'll give us a bunch of incentives? Maybe we can do this a lot cheaper somewhere else outside of the Hollywood system. And I think that more and more people are probably going to go this route. Another one I saw recently, Novocaine. Novocaine cost, I think, either 10 million or 15 million dollars to produce, something between 10 to 15 million. And they filmed it, if I remember correctly, in South Africa. And again, they're like, we're in San Diego. That's the funniest thing. Like, you're in Hungary, you're in San Diego. You're in Africa, you're in San Diego. Like, they'll go anywhere just as long as they don't have to pay a lot of money and they can film for cheap. And today, with the kind of effects you have with computers and different things, you could mask a place. You know what I'm saying? If you could find locations that seem similar enough, you could sort of mask the place and make it seem like it's somewhere else. And we may see more and more of this. Hollywood certainly isn't as appealing to people as it was before. Even Trump, when he kind of was elected and he appointed his Hollywood ambassadors, and people may have thought that was funny, I don't think that the spirit of what he was saying was wrong. Do you get what I'm saying?
No, I don't think the spirit was wrong at all. I think he was looking for some people to actually go in there and start letting people know that being conservative is not a bad word, and that perhaps may need more of those people to step up and try to help to reverse some of the collapse that we're seeing in LA and the surrounding area throughout California.
X-Files was shot mostly in Canada. Whalem03 says, yes. I think that back in the day, what they would do is one of the go-to places was like they'd shoot in Toronto or
Oh yeah, a lot of
in
productions out
Vancouver,
there.
Toronto, or something like that. And that was one of their options. The go-to options. You have something you want to film. You want to do it on the cheap. You do it there. The show Suits that everybody, it supposedly happens in New York. Well, 90 something percent of it was filmed in I think Toronto. So, yeah, I mean, this has been going on for a long while, but I think that there's just more and more options. The fact that somebody now is like, let's go to South Africa and pretend that we're in San Diego, I think that has meaning. Not to mention that once you have all those kind of period pieces or fantasy, they always go to these kind of European places with castles, anyways.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Like those kind of Game of Thrones and all that stuff. They film that like they don't film that in the US. Uh, so there's just a lot of productions that have left. And also another thing that happened that Atlanta became at some point a place that a lot of companies wanted to film at because there were more incentives. The whole Walking Dead thing, all their 70 spin-offs, I think they're all filmed in Atlanta, I think. Not that I even watched that. I feel like Walking Dead started off pretty decently for the first, 3, 4, 5 seasons, then just went off a cliff at some point. But yeah, a lot of production companies have been finding creative solutions for years, and I think that the options are growing. And with California, you just don't want to deal with them Not to mention, I don't know if you know this, Professor, there's a lot of things in California that if you want to do business with them, they have all these like woke policies. It's no joke. They have all this stuff that they're like, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to do this, you got to do that. And some
Oh
some
yeah.
people at the end are just like, we don't want to deal with this anymore.
Oh yeah, it's absolute. I don't even know what to call it. It's wild. The bureaucracy behind everything, the level of the regulations and everything that are there. It's like all of these people who had their, they lost their homes in the fire, in all these different fires that happened earlier this year. And what do they have to do? They're going to have to jump through a billion hoops in order to just get the permits to start building. And then they're going to have their buildings approved. They have to be all these, certified for all of these, it doesn't have that chemical and it doesn't have that material, and that it's going to be, have the right insulation. Not that insulation. Nope. The more expensive stuff we've regulated that you have to have. And it all has to follow all of these very detailed rules as to what you can build. People are going to absolutely lose their minds. And of course, a lot of them are already getting to that point because they keep hitting all of these walls, all of these regulations, preventing them from actually being able to rebuild their homes. It's maddening.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I don't know what Gavin Newsom is going to do, but the one thing that annoys me all the time is that he just ignores all of his failures, never acknowledges anything, especially the recent fires. He just all he's thinking about is how he's going to run in 2028. He doesn't care about anything else, doesn't care about his constituents, doesn't care about California. He's only thinking about the optics of what he looks like, how he's going to run in 2028. He spends more energy on his stupid podcast, which, again, remember what I told you? I told you that people shouldn't go to that podcast, shouldn't give him the time of day, and shouldn't legitimize him. And some people were like, oh, maybe they should. What are you saying? No, this and that. They can sort of put him in his place. But that's not what he's doing. I think that this guy doesn't deserve any attention. I think that in his podcast, he should sit and talk with himself. I don't think anybody should be going to his podcast. That's just my opinion. There's
Yeah.
no benefit. Like people were like, but Charlie Kirk got to sit and give him a piece of his mind. Charlie Kirk went there and gave legitimacy to, unfortunately, that's what I think, gave legitimacy to Gavin Newsom.
Yeah, on some level, I think you're right. Yeah.
It doesn't benefit anybody. You know what I mean? Like, I'm thinking, what's the benefit? Maybe you're thinking, well, people may support Newsom. They'll see another angle, and their minds will shift or something like that. But that's not going to happen. It's not worth it.
No, I can't believe he's still governor, and I can't believe that people think that he might actually somehow be able to sue the federal government to change international trade policy. That is something that is very clearly defined as being handled by the Fed or by the federal government and being handled by the executive branch. So unless the legislature passes something through the legislature to change that, that's who gets to control it. The executive branch gets to control it. So
just a thing here. Mel Gibson isn't even American. He's an Aussie, but he actually, and I agree with Sean Green, he was born in America and raised in Australia. That's true. That's why I think he initially had an American accent. Then he kind of had to adopt an Australian accent, but he also has an American one, and he can move between one accent and the other, from what I remember. I could be wrong, but I think he can switch between them. Superior Nav says, Price of Reason Live, new Fantastic Four trailer drop, going to cover that. Yes, it is in our thumbnail. If you ever want to know, if you look at the thumbnail and you look at the headline, we give our main stories. In addition to those main stories, there's also other stories that we cover. But the ones that appear on the thumbnail and in our title, those are ones that will be discussed for sure. And in addition to that, if you're watching this and you feel like doing a like, that would really help us, whatever platform you're watching on. Liking this stream is great. If you want to like, if you haven't followed us yet, that's something that you should do. If you're on Rumble watching through the app and you haven't signed up, you should sign up. I know I've said it, but I'm just throwing that out there again for those who haven't done it. And then... yeah, so I don't know how we got to... maybe because I was talking about Trump, that he wanted the Hollywood ambassadors. Maybe that's why somebody mentioned Mel Gibson. But in any case, I don't know what Gavin Newsom has up his sleeve. He just, to me, he comes off as annoying, and I don't know that any of these shenanigans are going to work for him. I certainly hope that he gets voted out as governor, and I hope that when 2028 comes along, that he isn't looked at as a serious candidate. Or let's just say that
I
I
can't
would.
imagine. Yeah. So right now they're saying that the most exciting the most exciting candidates, the one that everybody's looking forward to is AOC apparently.
AOC, yeah, or
Yeah.
maybe they can team up and do an AOC and Gavin Newsom ticket, which is
Oh, good
like,
Lord.
man, that talk about like the stuff of nightmares. But yeah, that's what that's what it would seem like to me. But I guess I don't know. Listen, I can't speak for other people. If they like those people, they can like them. For me, neither of those seem like the type of people that should be presidential material. I saw also recently, like Stephen A. Smith, like from the sports thing, is like, oh, maybe I should run for president. I, I, it's silly that I'm saying this. I actually probably think that he would be better than AOC or Gavin Newsom, not because there's anything good about him, but because he somehow manages to annoy me a little less than those other two. But honestly, none of those three are good candidates, in my opinion. It's strange that the Democrats don't have any good candidates.
I don't know that it's that strange.
No, it's not strange. But you know what? They did have a few. I actually thought Tulsi Gabbard was a pretty decent person they had in their party. And she was the type of person that was more moderate and maybe could have more of an appeal to a wider net of voters. And they somehow got rid of her. Like they pushed her away and she ended up joining Trump, which is very odd. Odd in the sense that this kind of stuff didn't used to happen in the same way. You know what I mean? It was her and RFK switching over to the Republicans was a very surprising development.
Yeah, and I think it was probably something that was a long time coming for some of them. Yeah,
Probably. But I think we covered Gavin Newsom and his stupid maneuvers, and that he annoys me. I don't know if that's a topic, but that's how I feel. Next, we have Disney Fantastic Four to flop, and I guess inevitably we're going to have to look at this trailer again. Fantastic Four.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yes, probably gonna have to look at it. Although we do have some other things to talk about. If you don't know, at the moment over in Japan, they are getting started with Star Wars Celebration. So there's a bunch of breaking announcements going on.
Right, I saw that. There was a bunch of nonsense, and we'll get to that very shortly. But let's just start with this thing quickly, because sorry, Professor. We'll get it. We'll get over it.
No, it's fine.
We'll do this very quickly.
It's fine. Let's do it.
We're gonna suffer through this trailer
again.
Okay, here we go. This is the final trailer, I guess the new trailer for Fantastic Four. For those who don't know, the Fantastic Four, this is sort of a fresh take on it from Kevin Feige, Disney, and the MCU. And we've seen a few teasers that we've talked about on this show. This was supposed to be a trailer that really gets people excited. This is the trailer, and you guys can decide if you're excited. Then the Professor and I are going to share our thoughts about it.
Well, folks, we all know the story. 4 brave astronauts head up into space and come back forever changed.
This car?
Our city, our planet, owe a debt to these intrepid souls. And while we can never repay them, we can certainly celebrate them.
Thank you, Fantastic Four. Thank you.
Thank you, Fantastic Four.
Please welcome the Fantastic Four.
Herbie, how's that sauce looking? Okay. That is fantastic.
You're late.
What do you mean?
What do you mean? What do I mean? You're late for dinner.
Yes, we are.
You late?
I just said that.
Are you pregnant?
What? You're going to be the best mom in the world. And you are going to be the best dad. Just kidding. You are out of your depth. We are going to be the best uncles ever.
We can do this. Nothing's going to change.
Are you the protectors of this world?
Yes, we are.
Your planet is now marked for death.
It's my fault. I stretched the bounds of space. And they hurt.
Are we safe?
I don't know. There's not enough time.
I'm not giving up. We will face this together. We will fight it together. As a family. Has to be us.
We will protect you.
Yeah, every time I look at this trailer, I like it less than the previous time that I looked at it, if that was even possible.
Yeah. There's just so much that's
For starters, every time you see Reed Richards, played by Pedro Pascal here, he has this kind of confused look on his face, like he's like an idiot. I don't like that. Every time in the trailer you look at him, he has this kind of his like his eyes are open. He looks like a deer in headlights. And every time you see Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm, she's like all confident. She's the one giving the pep talks. She's the one in charge. She's like, we can do it. This is family. We got to do it. It's got to be us. We got to step up. We got to do this. He's like, I can't protect you. You know what I mean? Look, he looks like an idiot. I don't like any of this. Not to mention the thing, I agree. The more I look at him smiling, the more it annoys me. He should be, like we said before when we were on the stream with Tom, shout out to Tom from Midnight's Edge, absolutely should be a situation where he has the trench coat and the hat. That's the way I know him from a kid, reading comics. I know there's people that have read more comics than me that are more experts, but actually as a kid I did read some, and I absolutely like the way he was. I liked him with a trench coat. I liked the way he was. And say what you want about those movies with Jessica Alba and the gang, they did have him in the trench coat.
Yep.
They
and
did.
we did in the previous teaser. We show there was the trench coat, but here, yeah, just like wandering around in like a jacket.
I don't know. In this one, I guess I didn't see the trench coat in this one. Maybe they
Yeah, it
showed
wasn't
the
in this
previous
one. Wasn't in this one.
I don't
It
like
was in the
seeing him
earlier
smile. I
teaser.
don't like seeing him in the
Ooh.
kitchen cooking pasta. I don't think that he needs to talk the way he talks. You need to have this kind of rough around the edges voice, vibe, and character. And this guy is like, they managed to make Thing like a beta. I don't know how they managed to make him like some like loser. I don't know. And also, Reed Richards, they made him a loser too. And I don't like what they've done with Johnny Storm. Man, I can't believe that I miss Chris Evans. I can't believe it. Because Chris Evans, if you take him out of his roles on screen, when he's not Johnny Storm and he's not Captain America, Chris Evans, I feel like if you and I sat with him in a room, we'd get annoyed like after like 5 minutes of hanging out with him. You know what I mean? Like we'd want to leave. He seems like he would get on our nerves in like 5 minutes. But I will give him this. As an actor, those two roles were good for him. I don't even think that he's good at any other roles, but those two roles are good for him. So, and man, this Joseph Quinn guy, sorry, I think people were too quick. They took him because of Stranger Things. He played Eddie Munson on I think Munson, that was his name, on Stranger Things. I think he did very well there. People were like, oh, he's like a young Robert Downey Jr. I don't know, man. I don't see that here.
No, I don't see it.
I am not seeing that here. I don't like what he's said to the press. I don't like what Vanessa Kirby said to the press. And these guys, some of them are too old to be playing these roles. This whole thing that Kevin Feige did, in my opinion, is ill-conceived. And on occasion, on rare occasions, I see a trailer and then I see the movie and it just surprises me. I think it's going to be crap and it ends up being good. I'm trying to think of the last time that happened to me. What movie was there in recent years that maybe we saw a trailer, we thought it was bad, and it ended up being good?
I don't know that I can pick out one.
Usually, when you see the trailer, in the trailer you have a bad feeling about it. 95% of the time, it means that it's bad. I'm trying to think. You know what? I'll give you an example. When I saw the trailers for Top Gun Maverick, I wasn't sure. You know what I mean? Like, I still wasn't 100% sold. It looked okay, but I wasn't 100% sold. I was hoping it would be good, but I didn't know for sure. I didn't think it was bad. It wasn't like this Fantastic Four thing, but I wasn't sure yet. And I saw the movie and it ended up being good. But Fantastic Four, it's not an unsure situation. I really don't have a good feeling about it. I'll give you an example. The movie, I know this is a really old example. When I saw the trailer for Austin Powers the first time, I thought this movie is stupid, it's dumb, and I probably shouldn't even watch it. It's the dumbest movie ever. That's what the commercial looked like, the trailer for the first movie. And then a friend of mine told me, listen, man, I saw Austin Powers. You should watch this movie. Laughed my ass off. And then I saw it, and that person was right. So once in a while, there's like the exception to the rule. You look at a trailer, it tries to tell you one thing, it ends up being something else. It is so rare. Another example, the movie Pop Star. Did you ever watch that?
Pop Star? I don't think I saw that one.
Okay, so Pop Star is a movie where Andy Samberg plays like a Justin Bieber type of pop musician. And it's like a satire. I haven't watched this movie in a few years, so I don't know if I watch it now it would make me laugh as much. This movie is from 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago. I don't know what. But what I'll say is that I saw the trailer and I thought, man, this is the dumbest movie ever. This is a piece of crap. I'm not even going to watch it. And then one day, I don't know if it was on Netflix or where it was, a year after it was in the theater, maybe half a year. And I sat there and I legitimately laughed. Like, I was surprised that it actually made me laugh. So, yeah, once in a while you run into those kind of things. But most of the time when you see a trailer and it looks like there's something bad about it, it ends up being bad. And Fantastic Four, these trailers, I do not like them at all. How do you feel about them?
There's a lot not to like here. As we have said before, oh boy. The casting is all wrong. Pedro is awful. Just does not fit the character of Reed Richards at all. Vanessa Kirby, while a lovely woman, I don't feel her in that character. I'm not the world's biggest, Fantastic Four fan. That would have been clobbering times. Rest in peace, Clobby. But I know the characters and kind of who they're supposed to be, and she does not feel that way. It feels like she should be somebody who's more of a down-to-earth kind of girl next door kind of character, especially if it's going to be someone who's in this 1960s kind of story, right? I do not like the actors that they've picked. Well, not so much. I don't really mind so much the Evan Bacharach that's doing the to me. Evan Moss Bacharach.
He does. Burt Bacharach doesn't sound like the Thing.
Yeah. Well, he should. The problem is that he's fine when he's just Ben Grimm, but when he becomes the Thing. Not only does he become really big, he's very he's very awkward in his body, and then of course his voice needs to sound different. He's just walking around with the same voice, and then they showed those teeth. Oh, it's weird.
Oh,
those
awful,
teeth are
awful.
weird. They got to fix that. They got to pull a
Klobby
Sonic.
wouldn't like this. Klobby wouldn't like this at all.
No, he
Somebody
would
said about
not
Klobby.
like
He
this
would not
at
like
all.
it.
No,
There is
no
not a lot I
question.
can say. Like, I don't claim to speak for Klobby or what he would have thought, but my instinct tells me that as much as I don't like this trailer, he would have not liked it even more.
Yeah, it's bad. And then of course, yeah, you've got I forget the guy who's playing Johnny Storm, but uh not
Joseph Quinn.
yeah, Joseph Quinn. I not that I hate him in that part, but I don't feel it. I'm not seeing that character in what they're showing in this trailer. Maybe we get to see more of it in the movie, I don't know, but it already sounds like from a lot of the stuff that they've talked about that they've basically changed who his character is. He's not the hothead womanizer character that he's been in the comics that he was in the original stories. He's probably going to be some sort of male feminist or potentially even gay, right?
Right.
He's not going to be the character that he's supposed to be. Uh, so it just feels like every single chance they had to make these characters fit who they're supposed to be, they got it completely wrong. Then we start to look at the other stuff that they're throwing in here. That they decided to go with a galactic, enormous, world-ending threat for their story, which I hate. Right out of the gate, first story out. Oh, world-ending threat with Galactus. It should have been somebody smaller. It should have been. I mean, even Doom would probably be too much for a first sort of story. Of course, I know we're supposed to be picking up this story kind of in the middle of their careers as heroes, right? They're already well known. Everyone knows who they are. So they probably defeated a lot of little minor villains and stuff. But to go straight to Galactus in the first movie, I don't really love that choice. The lady, you know, Silver Surfette, whatever you want to call her.
Oh man.
Not only was that a dumb choice, it's also just it immediately puts you into that mode of thinking, okay, they're inserting gender politics into this,
And
right?
you had Vanessa Kirby, the actress, basically saying, "We've inserted gender politics
Yeah,
into the
yeah.
movie."
We're gonna have modern feminist politics as part of my character. Yeah. Oh,
These
thank
people
you.
are so
Thanks
stupid,
so
some of these
much.
actors. Like, they've learned nothing from Rachel Zegler. By the way, this was a conversation I was having today with, online with Steven Voiceover. I don't know if you're familiar with him.
No.
Let me see if I can find this. It's
Yeah.
funny because I was having a nice kind of back and forth with him. I don't know if I can find it.
Yeah, while you're looking for it, I'll just kind of finish up. So yeah, the Silver Surfette, not only like I said, or do we know that they're going to be inserting feminist politics stuff, and you can just feel it, but it's not a well-known version of the character. They're dragging, they got to have this female character in there, so they got to drag it out of a few issues of a side story comic that happens in a totally different universe, instead of going with the Silver Surfer that is well known and established, a beloved character, in all kinds of different media, and then she looks awful. In the trailer, the CGI for her, it looks terrible. Someone mentioned because she has like kind of really broad shoulders. I saw someone kind of mention that she's, I don't like the look at all. The hair, the silvery hair behind it looks
Awful.
absolutely terrible. Looks absolutely terrible. That's one of the reasons that the look of the Silver Surfer works so well without the hair, with just the smooth head. It works really well. It's very interesting.
This
So,
is a post that I
uh,
did today that, some people have been looking at, that I wrote that I prefer the Silver Surfer from the Fantastic Four, Rise of the Silver Surfer. That's from 2007. This gender swap ain't working for me. There's two things that I don't like here. One, I think that he needs to be a dude, and I know that somewhere they tried this idea of him being a woman. I don't really care about it. I think it has to be the Silver Surfer the way we think that he is. Nothing personal. I don't like the Silver Smurfette thing or whatever it is. It's not for me. But like you said, uh, when you look at this thing from 2007, the way it still looks pretty cool. The way this thing looks from 2025 with that hair, it looks awful. It looks absolutely awful. This is awful CGI, and I think it's embarrassing. And you know what I feel bad for? Who I feel bad for? Julia Garner, that plays this role, the Silver Smurfette. I actually think she's a really good actress. She's a really good character actress. I'm genuinely fond of her. I think that when there's like a character actress role and I see her in it, I know she's going to do really well acting wise. But this is the type of movie that it doesn't matter that even if she is a good actor. I think from what I saw in the trailer, it's not going to really matter. This looks ridiculous, and I don't like it. And as
Yeah.
for the Steven voiceover guy, let me see if I can share this one instead. Share this tab instead. So Steven voiceover, I guess he's the editor for the Quartering. He does also these kind of impressions and voiceovers and funny things. We've run in the same circles for a while. He's always I like his takes, and he seems like a decent guy. Uh, Anytime I interact with him. So I did this thing can you see it? The Jessica Alba thing. Can you see it?
Yes.
Hot take, Jessica Alba was much better casting for Sue Storm than Vanessa Kirby. Kevin Feige is a clown, and his Fantastic Four movie is doomed. I really do think that. That's how I felt after the trailer. This was like raw emotions from me. I just like went, and I'm like, fuck it. Sorry, Sean. In any case, I basically put a picture of what Jessica Alba looked like as Sue Storm and what Vanessa Kirby looks like. And man, I am sorry. I don't know what to tell you. Jessica Alba, to me, I know that, some people could say that there was reasons why maybe she wasn't 100% accurate, but you know what? She looked very appealing. She brought a lot of fun to the role. And I think that the age that that at the time they chose her was the right age. I think that the look was the right look. And when I look at her versus Vanessa Kirby, it really, really feels like Jessica Alba is the clear winner here.
Mm-hmm. No question. No question.
I've said it before, and I know this sounds like a really mean thing that I'm going to say now. It looks like Vanessa Kirby is taking a dump. When you look at her face, like, I don't know what that face... Jessica Alba knew why they hired her. Some people are like, well, she's not the best actress. You know what? Sometimes that doesn't really matter. I think that she knew exactly why she was hired. She embraced it. She was a good sport, and she brought a lot of fun to the role. And when I look at Vanessa Kirby, I don't feel any of those things. Not to mention that Vanessa Kirby is around the same age as, she's a few years younger than Jessica Alba today. Jessica Alba right now, even being a few years older than her, looks a whole lot, I don't... It's not nice to say a whole lot better, but it is the truth. No, it doesn't mean that Vanessa Kirby can't be like a character actress, and I'm not saying she's hideous or anything, but I'm just saying, like, I think that in these type of movies, you need a little bit of appeal. Let's also be honest here. This isn't a small indie movie that you're making for like, $10-20 million about some like, drama that at that point you're like, we really need character actors here that really deliver that type of performance. Sometimes you need that. Fantastic Four should be playful, should bring a certain like, fun, spectacle vibe, glamour, men and women that are very appealing. That should be the vibe here. They completely didn't go in that direction with this Fantastic Four. It has all the crap that Disney keeps saying they're steering away from, yet they still continue to steer towards to. And my interaction just quickly with Steven voiceover said, the dude playing Johnny said, being a hothead these days isn't sexy. Vanessa said she's exploring gender politics with Sue. I'd rather get shoot through my left with the... I don't know if I can read this. I'd rather get Minecraft through my left peanut with a crossroad bolt and then discover there's a gas bill tied to it than watch this shite. And then I just wrote, yeah, they're doing anti-marketing for this movie. And he wrote, honestly, I don't get it. I read that when Zegler was pulling this shit, the producer flew across the country to reprimand her in person. How the F did they get hired in the first place? And I wrote that my opinion is that nothing has really changed, I guess. Zegler was just over the top, even for them. And I do agree. It's not so much that they don't like politics and all the nonsense. It's just somehow Zegler just managed to somehow cross even their line. You know what I mean? Like, as much as they love it, she took one step too far.
Yep.
And then people were saying, "Hey, look, Jessica Alba still looks good." I agree, she still looks good.
Yes.
I would prefer Jessica Alba now how she looks over Vanessa Kirby. But the fact that they took her when she was like in her 20s, really, I like what they did in the past. If you're going to do something new, do something better, do something that's more exciting. And somehow, anything that Kevin Feige has been doing, it's not better, it's worse, in my opinion, of course. Anyhow, I think
Yeah.
every time we bring up this Fantastic Four thing, we get annoyed. But the question
Yeah.
is, do you think that this is gonna be a financial success for Disney, or do you think it's gonna be a flop?
I do not think it's going to be a financial success. I think we've already started to see some of the early projections at what the box office might look like for this, and it is not promising. And I don't know that I expect this to be quite as big a failure as we saw with Captain African American, but it's still not going to do well. I also think we're going to see a pretty subdued response to Thunderbolts. So yeah, the early projections for these films are not good, and whether they're good or not, obviously that's going to depend. Or the following weekends, right? The people who come back to the theater, the people who have are getting some kind of good impressions, good word of mouth, the comeback weekend, in the later weekends. That's going to come if the movies are good. But it looks so far like the premieres for these are going to be in pretty bad shape. We're talking about first week domestic for Thunderbolts. I believe they were saying somewhere from 60 to 80. And the estimates for Fantastic Four at this point were not much better. They were like 70 to 85 or something like that. So not looking great. Not looking great.
I don't know. Maybe like I said, sometimes things can surprise me. Another movie, and again, this isn't like a ringing endorsement. This is really a mild, not ringing endorsement. For example, when I saw the trailer for Prey, the Predator movie prequel or whatever it is, I thought it would be like an unmitigated disaster, and instead I watched it and it was just somewhat passable. So rather than full disaster, it was just kind of okay with a lot of issues. So sometimes you see a movie and you're like, okay, well, this surprised me. I think maybe The Beekeeper I thought would be okay, and I enjoyed it a bit more than that. I actually rather enjoyed it. So sometimes you have movies like that. But in the case of the Fantastic Four in these trailers, I actively don't like it. It's not even, it's not that I'm just kind of ambivalent or something. I genuinely don't like it. And for this thing to surprise me and be good, wow. It would have to be like a miracle, you know what I mean? Usually the trailer at the end, they could try to decorate it in the nicest way and do all this stuff, but I think that by now you and I, Professor, when we watch a trailer, we kind of get a feel for if this movie is a piece of crap or not.
Yep. As I said, from the trailers that we've seen so far, I am not feeling the chemistry in this movie. I do not feel that they've picked up with these characters and given us what we want in this. They're giving us what they think they want us to have, right? I'm sure. I don't think it's going to have the humor, not the kind of humor that we want. Probably quippy little crap, like they picked up. There's been sort of a mainstay of the MCU now ever since Guardians of the Galaxy. There's going to be some of that. There's
I
going to
hate that
be,
stuff.
yeah.
It annoys me. I don't know why.
Here's the thing. It worked in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes.
But that's because of the characters and the
Right.
situations, the personalities that were involved. It doesn't work in every situation. I don't want to hear that. I just want to hear nonstop quippy stuff in every single film coming out of every single character's mouth. It doesn't work.
It doesn't need to happen. Also, if you have quippy stuff every second, it starts becoming you can't take it seriously. You know what I mean? You have to at least be immersed in it and believe that what you're watching is kind of happening. And I think in order to be invested in the story, you can't just do the quippy thing.
Yeah.
Also, at some point, the quippy thing gets old. Like, it's nice if you reserve it for specific character, for specific situations, but to just have it nonstop, I think is annoying. A lot of bad things. I like a lot of the stuff from the MCU from the run that it had in its good days, but man, it also did a lot of damage for cinema. It did damage even for future MCU movies. Uh, at the beginning, things were done because there was a bit of an artistic idea there, but over time, it just became some like sludge machine where they're just churning out more and more of it, and it really lost its soul. It became very soulless corporate crap, and the Fantastic Four just feels like another case of that.
Mm-hmm.
But we covered it. I think that I don't know how much money they've spent on it, and Disney a lot of times they don't say how much they really spent, but they probably spent a few hundred million on it, and I doubt that this thing is going to be the runaway hit that they want. Maybe it'll perform just okay for them. Thunderbolt certainly isn't going to do. I don't think it's going to do spectacular numbers, but we'll see.
Yeah, well, we'll just have to wait and see. I just, I've said it again and again. The MCU's dead. It's dead. We haven't seen anything worthwhile out of this aside from a Spider-Man movie in years. Ever since Endgame, right? We've just gotten crap after crap after crap. We got an acceptable third film in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, kind of wrapping that up. It was not the best of those three, although it was an okay movie. It had its good parts, but in overall not great. We got Spider-Man No Way Home, enjoyable. Had a lot of interesting stuff in it, a lot of member berries, but a decent story, good action, fun movie. What have we gotten other than that?
Nothing.
That's
Nothing.
worth anyone's time. Nothing.
Since Avengers Endgame, the only two highlights that I can think of are Spider-Man No Way Home and Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah.
Built
I
on a
almost don't even count Deadpool and Wolverine as an MCU movie because it's basically a farewell to
to the
the
Fox
Fox
universe,
universe.
yeah.
It really has very little MCU in it.
But let's just pretend that like it's under the Disney banner now and they released it, so I'll give them the minimum credit for these two
Sure.
things, even though Ryan Reynolds really pushed for Deadpool and Wolverine to be the way that he wanted. But I'll say that those two movies, and yeah, it's funny because one was a Sony production and one was like a Ryan Reynolds production, basically from a
Yeah.
Fox leftover property thing. So these things were the things that we enjoyed the most. Even they weren't perfect. They really were relying on member berries and on goodwill. They weren't bringing something new to the table as much as they were teaming up some people from the past that you enjoyed seeing in other movies, and now they were bringing them together. Same thing in No Way Home. Same thing in Deadpool and Wolverine. They had the team up elements from the past, and people enjoyed that. But that's not a foundation for a franchise. They have not been able to recover since Avengers Endgame. It doesn't help that they did all that kind of agenda driven identity politics stuff. Man, we got a lot of stinkers there. And the final thing I wanted to tell you is when I look at Fantastic Four, you know what I feel like when I see the stylish, quote unquote, stylish vibe of the movie, the retro future? It reminds me of WandaVision. WandaVision started off the first few episodes. People were like, look how cool it is. Look how stylish it is. And then you get through a few episodes and it turns out that the story, it seems like it was written by like a 3-year-old. You know what I mean? But yes, it looks stylish at the beginning. You think, oh, I wonder where this is going. This is really interesting. At the end, it goes nowhere. It's just dumb. And I feel like in this thing with the Fantastic Four, they're like, isn't it stylish? Isn't it stylish? Yeah, it's stylish. It's not going to help your movie. This is going to be, in my opinion, another type of WandaVision disappointment, only in movie form.
Mm-hmm.
Marla Sharendorf says, "Can't get any worse than Snow White or Ishtar." You know,
Oh.
I have to say honestly, I have never watched Ishtar. I feel bad.
Oh.
I
Yeah.
feel bad that I've never watched it. I wanted to watch it. I just never got a chance. Did you ever watch Ishtar?
I saw it a long time ago. Yeah, I think I saw it on TV. It was awful. But I mean, yes, you absolutely can do worse than that. Watch any Coleman Francis film. Trust me, you'll be in agony by the time that's over.
John Malama says Strange Mom, which is Doctor Strange 2, which was basically a movie that was hijacked in order to showcase Wanda. Man, that movie was a mess. It made money, but it made money because it was right after No Way Home Spider-Man, and everybody thought it was like a sequel to it, and it ended
Yeah.
up just being a piece of crap. And that's such a con job.
Well, and the first movie was really fun.
Right. The
It,
first Doctor Strange was good. People liked the character. And then after Spider Man No Way Home, you thought, oh, this is going to be a cool continuation to that. Such a bait and switch. You go see that Strange Mom thing. It was terrible. Multiverse of Madness or whatever it is. Ant Man,
yeah.
Mania, also terrible movie. Thor 4
Ooh.
couldn't. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I never got through Thor 4. I never finished the movie. It's the only MCU movie I think that I didn't finish. It's not that like I specifically said I wouldn't finish it. I think I put it on, and somewhere in the middle of the movie I dozed off, and the chore of me going back and finishing it, to this day I haven't been able to do it.
Yeah.
And I feel good
It's
about my decision. I'm not
yeah.
losing any sleep over it. I
Oh,
didn't
no,
finish the
no, no,
movie.
no, no.
I admit it. Out of all the MCU movies, I didn't finish Thor 4.
Yeah, I couldn't blame you. It is a disaster from just 1 minute to the next. You can't think it's going to get worse, and it keeps getting worse. And the really sad thing is that okay, so I'll be honest, a lot of people don't like Ragnarok. I enjoyed Ragnarok. I did not mind the comedic turn they took with the character for that film, but it should have been for that
Right.
film
Th
alone.
They should
It
have
should have
not
been
brought they shouldn't have brought
yes.
Taika Waititi back.
No.
You let him do this one movie, it was quirky, it was a little buddy thing with the Hulk, it was fine. That was the most humor they should ever have done with that character. Next movie, dial it back. You can have him have one-liners, but give some serious plot going on. Don't make it
Yeah.
just a ridiculous farce.
Yeah.
I have never been a huge fan of Taika Waititi. I think he's overrated and annoying. I know some people, they're like, "Oh, I like Jojo Rabbit."
Yeah.
You can like whatever you want. I don't give a shit about Taika Waititi. Ragnarok, I put up with it. It was fine. You know, it was okay for what it was, like you said. Didn't hate it when I watched it. It was a fun popcorn movie. I think that should have been a one-off. I
Yeah.
don't know. That
You
was
had
not.
you had Thor and you had Loki in an extremely ridiculous situation. You had the
Right.
Hulk there, and so they're responding to this sort of absurdity of the situation that they're in and everything. And so the comedy, I thought, the humor, I thought worked. I did not mind it so much. I didn't think they were completely making a joke out of Thor. But the second film, YTT's second one, Love and Thunder, was awful. It was humiliating for Thor, even more humiliating than the fat Thor that they threw into
Which also
Endgame and
annoyed me,
stuff,
by the
which
way.
was
I didn't
which was
like that
awful,
either.
awful. I hated it. But
I
the
didn't like Fat Thor.
no, not at all. Yeah, dad bod Thor, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, it was awful. But so the story and everything of Love and Thunder was awful. Bringing back Natalie Portman and giving her CGI muscles and stuff, terrible. The way they changed the costumes, everything is bright and cartoonish, and it was
Nobody
all
missed her. Nobody
just
missed Natalie Portman.
no,
Honestly,
no,
her character had run its course, and I couldn't give a shit when she left. Respectfully, she was fine as Jane Foster, but once they took her away from him and he kind of went in another direction, I thought it opened a lot of opportunities to do something else with the character. And it's
yeah,
not like I was sitting around thinking, "Oh, I have to see more of Jane Foster." I couldn't care less. Her reintroduction in Thor, 4. I couldn't care less about it. Really didn't. I just want to look at a few comments here. Fractured 01, Thor becoming a joke was crap writing. They need to ditch the jokes completely. That's from Pork Sword Supreme. Also, Pork Sword Supreme says they'll have to go hard to redeem in Doom. I agree. It's really difficult to redeem Thor at this point. Barbara Lawrence Ragnarok was silly fun. Yes, as a one-off, I agree. I didn't hate it when I saw it, but I didn't realize that they'd learn all the wrong lessons from it. Like Kevin
yeah,
Feige
yeah,
since Ragnarok wanted all of his movies every second to be Ragnarok, Sometimes something works in one thing, but it doesn't work for everything.
Yeah, it was just like you said, well, learned all the wrong lessons. And I also someone else mentioned, I saw somebody, I think it was Jamalama said, that yeah, it was a waste of Christian Bale as well.
Oh,
I
that
I
is
actually
absolute.
I actually really I thought that the choice of him for that character was great at the start of the film. I really was enjoying his performance, is the way he played that character, that his facing his really callous God, and uh, unleashing the rage in him, and that was brought out, and taking the sword and starting to kill the gods. That was fine. I thought that worked really well, and I thought he would do fine in the part. But yeah, it's a total waste of him. His character becomes absurd, and the story just gets ridiculous, and then in the end, yeah, he just gives up, and it was, yeah, it was such a waste of Christian Bale, and he
Christian
could have
Bale
done great in that role, but
Christian Bale is a really good actor to
he
have in
is
your movie.
extremely talented actor.
It's such
Yes.
a waste that you bring him into the MCU and you just, you know, don't know what to do with him. Very, very sad because I think that there was something that could have been done with him. He doesn't phone in his performances. You could tell anytime he's doing a performance that he really cares about it. And man, what a crappy movie to put him in. Just a shame.
Yep.
But
Really, really a shame.
one day, I'm gonna finish watching that stupid movie. I wanna watch it just so I can have that knowledge of what happens. I think I then maybe read a recap or something. I couldn't even be bothered. It was just so annoying, and, it's funny that, like, Natalie Portman, they did the CGI muscles. Like, the whole thing is that how much she's like, in real life, she's a feminist, and one of the reasons she left the franchise because she had issues, and they didn't hire Patty Jenkins and all this weird crap, and that's why, like, she bailed, and then at the end, like, she returns to be, like, a girl boss, but she doesn't even go to the gym, and they have to draw in her muscles.
Mhm.
It's the ultimate hypocrisy.
Yeah,
Like
you get Chris Hemsworth gets out there and bulks up for his role, and then what? Oh well, we're just gonna CGI the muscles on, right? Come on,
ridiculous. But
come on.
it is what it is, and, yeah. I guess that was us covering the Disney Fantastic Four disaster.
Blech. Yep.
Now let's there's a few other things to cover. Before we get to the more gaming thing, there were a few other things. First of all, I wanted to tell you that I saw a movie this week.
Oh, what'd
Uh,
you see?
I saw a movie. You're not going to believe it. I knew nothing about this movie. I I don't even think that I even heard of it because it's a small sort of movie. It's not like maybe some people have heard about it. I didn't even hear about it. The reason I went to see it is that there's a guy on Twitter called Hannibal Grimm,
Okay.
and he sometimes he DMs me, and he says to me, "Listen, I saw this movie. You should check it out." He's really nice. He gives recommendations and stuff. He's a cool guy. And he sent me a message sometime in the past week or two, and he said, "Hey, did you watch the movie Drop?" And I said, "No, I didn't even realize what that was." And he's like, "Yeah, it's a movie. I didn't expect much of it. It's a suspense movie, kind of a suspense thriller. I saw it and I had a lot of fun watching it." I'm like, "Okay." And sure enough, I had some time this week and I actually went. Let me see if I can find this thing. Drop.
Oh, here I can
So
share.
here, I found it.
Okay.
Uh, I will share the thing. So it's this thing. On Rotten Tomatoes, it has like a decent. Not that I even trust Rotten Tomatoes, but it has a decent critic score, decent audience score.
Mhm.
None of that means anything to me these days, really. So I went and I saw this movie, and I have to say that I enjoyed it. Now, it's not that I'm saying that I went there, and if you're expecting like Citizen Kane, The Godfather 1, or Gone with the Wind, this isn't that movie. But if you feel like going for a movie that doesn't outstay its welcome, that gives you just, a nice escape for like an hour and 40 minutes or whatever it is, this kind of suspense thriller that you're not thinking too much about, I think there's a lot to enjoy here. Yes, if you think about the movie later, you can pick apart certain things about the plot. You certainly need some, like, suspension of disbelief here, but there's an overall enjoyment, an overall popcornish feel to the movie that I haven't seen in a while. And I'll try to give you an example. Like, I like the movie The Rock with Nicolas Cage and Sean Connery, okay? But if I picked apart the screenplay, there's probably some silly things that happen there that you need to suspend a little bit of disbelief. Same way if you're like watching Con Air. Do you get what I'm saying? Sometimes you have
Sure.
movies that you like them and they're fun to watch in the theater, and obviously you needed to suspend disbelief. I think The Drop falls into that category, but there's some things that it does nicely. First of all, the leading actress, I believe I saw her on White Lotus, Megan Fahey. I didn't know her name. She is an appealing, likable woman. I thought she put in a good performance. Uh, just to give, without ruining or spoiling anything for anybody, I'll just say that it's about a woman that basically she's going to some kind of dinner when it turns out that, certain people that are close to her, there's like a hostage situation. There's a lot of different layers that she's sort of being monitored and put in a very difficult situation that she has to juggle a bunch of different things around, where people around her don't really know what's going on, but we know and she knows. And there's like a real threat, and she's sort of just trying to get out of it. Now, she's not like one of those kind of diehard Bruce Willis or something like that. She's just a mom. She's just like a woman going out, like, on a date, and she has a kid.
Mhm.
And in this movie, what I liked about it is that I don't feel that they just said, okay, let's do Girl Boss. I feel like this was a movie that could have been made maybe 10 years ago. And when I say that, I mean it as a compliment. I didn't feel like I was being lectured to. When it comes to, like, men are bad, there's bad men in the movie. There's also good men in the movie. You know what I mean? It's not
Sure.
just one of those things that you're sitting and you're thinking, oh, all the men are bad here, or something like that. Not at all. You see men that are bad, you see men that are good. It's also not one of those, like, pushing kind of agenda with skin color and all this stuff. I don't feel any of that. The fact that even there was like a woman who looks kind of appealing as a woman, acts like a woman. She goes on a date with a guy. The guy himself is like looks like a decent, like, looks okay. It wasn't one of those weird productions that we've been seeing over and over again for the past several years. I'm not. It doesn't reinvent the wheel, or it's not revolutionary, but it is a solid, fun popcorn movie, in my opinion. I enjoyed it. And yes, you could pick apart some things in the plot. Yes, there's some suspension of disbelief, a good amount of it, and yet somehow I was entertained. I noticed afterwards that I saw like Film Thread or something were saying Chris Gore was like, "Oh, there was a lot of silly things in the movie." I still enjoyed it. He admitted himself. He's like, "I was never bored." Sometimes that's all you need. You need to go to a movie. You're not bored. You're into the movie. Yes, again, if you're looking for a real life drama where like everything is super gritty and realistic, you're probably not going to get that here. But I enjoyed it. I won't lie. I enjoyed the movie. That is
Yeah.
my
So
my
this is the one that made a horror movie out of airdrops on your iPhone, right? That's the
something like that. But I wouldn't say that it's more of a suspense thriller. I
Oh,
wouldn't
okay.
call it a
Okay.
People think it's horror because I think that like Blumhouse is one of the producers of it for Universal, but you know what? It's more of a suspense thriller. It's not one of those movies that there's like a bunch of gory things like people like chopping off their heads every second. This is more of a suspense thriller. It is a movie. Another thing that I liked about it, and I really am rooting for productions like this. I think I read that the budget was like $10 million. I am so excited that somebody for $10 million made this movie, because you know what? I had fun for like an hour and 40 minutes in the theater. It was an escapist, fun popcorn movie for me, and it cost them $10 million to make. That is the kind of direction that I think Hollywood should be going towards. And unfortunately, maybe they didn't spend a lot on the marketing. I didn't hear a ton about it. I feel like this is the type of movie. I wish that a lot of movies like this were made. We need a foundation of movies that don't cost $500 million each to make
Oh, of
and then
course.
flop at the box office. You know what I mean? We need, instead of $500 million on Captain America, Captain Falcon America, or whatever it is, I would have preferred to make like 50 movies for $10 million.
Yeah. Yeah. And finance some young creators who are out there trying to do something new. Trying to do something unique rather than just make yet another sequel to an IP.
They did something different and they did it for $10 million. I also like that there was some fresh faces. Now, I knew Megan Fahey from White Lotus, but you haven't seen her in a million things. The guy that's playing like her date, that guy is from 1923, which is like a Yellowstone spinoff.
Yeah.
Also, I like that actor. It was actors that I don't see them every second. I would take these two actors over like Zendaya, and I don't know who else they're shoving down our throats every second.
Oh, yeah.
I would like to see this actress more than Zendaya. You know what I mean? Like, I am sick of seeing the same two actors in all the movies. Instead of Pedro Pascal, I like this guy. You know what I mean? I would
Yeah.
have liked this guy if you told me it was Reed Richards. I'd like him
There
better
you
than
go.
like, seriously, he would probably need to like shave his beard or whatever it is, and like,
At least he
you have
would.
to like comb him differently. You know what? He could have made a much better Reed Richards. And I'm going to say something else. This lady probably could have been a better Sue Storm as well. I'm not even.
I'm
kidding.
not doubting it. I'm not.
I'm not even kidding. I'm sick of seeing the same three actors all the time. I can't stand it that every movie I sit there and it's Pedro Pascal and Zendaya. I don't want to see them in every
No,
movie.
thank you. I don't want to
I don't
see
wanna
either
see
of them in
They have
anything
nothing
ever
to
again.
offer me. I don't want to see them. That's my personal opinion, of course. I feel like I'm overly I'm very opinionated tonight, Professor. I don't know what happened to
That's
me.
all right. It's okay. A little passion never hurt.
Fired up over
I
that
mean, maybe
annoying
it did, but
Fantastic Four. I've been annoyed about
yeah.
that Fantastic Four all day.
It's such a missed opportunity. If there was one property they needed to get right, if they were going to try and turn the MCU around, that was it. Thunderbolts isn't going to move the needle one way or the other. If it's the best movie or if it's the worst, it's not going to change anything. A lot of people aren't even going to go up and go watch it because they're not going to know any of the characters in it. There's going to be a bunch of people who don't have Disney Plus who are going to be asking who this fake Captain America with a beard is. They're not going to know who he is.
Pork Sword Supreme says Reasons needs to do a better job reading the room. I don't know what that means. What room wasn't I reading?
I don't know.
Dude, I'll talk 80s IPs all day and all night. I feel like there's probably I'm missing some context.
No, don't worry about
Passion
it.
of the Price.
Passion of the
You know, sometimes I'm chill. Sometimes I get very, very excited about things. This movie sucks. Pork Sword Supreme. I don't know which movie you're talking about. If you're referring to The Drop, I enjoyed the movie. That's all I can say. I am not suggesting that it is the best movie ever made. I'm saying that I went to the theater and this is a popcorn movie that I enjoyed watching. Even though, like I said, not perfect, you have to suspend disbelief, still enjoyed it. But that's what I think. You know, if you saw the movie Pork Sword Supreme and you didn't like it, that is cool as well. We don't always like. I even mentioned that what's his face? That Chris Gore. He said he wasn't bored by it and it kind of was entertained, but then at the same time, he didn't know if he liked it or not. So people have different opinions. But in any case, that was my review of this movie.
In any case,
Figured I'd throw it out there if anybody's looking for a popcorn movie. I try to give sometimes reviews of movies that aren't heavily talked about. So that was my thoughts. And I guess another thing that we were talking about was the Asmongold faces Backlash. Did you see that?
Oh, I guess we can do that. I thought we were going to jump over to Star Wars.
No, you know what? Let's do Star Wars first. We can leave that for
We
last.
can come back over to Asmongold to finish up. Yep. That's fine. Yeah. So, of course, if you don't know, anyone in the audience doesn't know, they have begun this year's Star Wars celebration this time around in Japan. I'm not sure exactly what they have to celebrate, but they're going to tell us. So it appears that yes, Star Wars films by James Mangold, Charmin Obaid-Chinoy, and Taika Waititi, as well as a new trilogy by Simon Kinberg, are all in ongoing development. Price.
This means nothing. We've seen so many of these stupid events that they just say a bunch of crap and none of those movies get made. Honestly, they needed to boot Kathleen Kennedy out of this thing. They're such losers. Bob Iger, and this is my opinion, such a loser. I sound like Trump now. That's it. You know that something strange is happening when I'm talking like Trump. I think Bob Iger, and this is my personal opinion, he's such a loser. Just get rid of her. Just get rid of her. Why are you keeping her in these stupid projects that 90% of them are never going to happen? Why are you even doing these stupid Star Wars events to begin with? This brand is dead. This is a bunch of crap. Most of this stuff that's being announced will either not get made or it'll get made and be a complete flop. Their big thing is The Mandalorian and Grogu. Yeah, people already are over that show. You already shit the bed with it. Sorry, Sean.
Yeah.
But go on. What were you going to?
Well, there was a trailer that was shown at Celebration for Mandalorian and Grogu. It has since been taken down, so we can't watch it because it was cam footage of what they showed there, and they didn't want that shown. I'm sure that means it's probably going to be on YouTube in 2 days anyway. But so Ryan Gosling is going to be the star of the upcoming Star Wars Starfighter movie. This is going to be the one that's being made by Sean Levy. So here's
that rumor is 100% true. True.
Oops, sorry. I was trying to pause it there. I was afraid the music might get us struck.
It's fine. Ryan Gosling.
Ryan Gosling in Star Wars Starfighter. I believe that was the title of a video game already, but whatever.
Ryan Gosling, to me, I'm not excited. I don't love Ryan Gosling. I think he's okay. I think he's kind of overrated. I know some of the ladies may like him. He's not the kind of actor that you say Ryan Gosling is in a movie. And I think to myself, I'm so looking forward to seeing what Ryan Gosling is going to do in this movie. He's not that kind of actor. I've said it many times, and you've been on streams with me that I've said it, and even other people have quoted me, is that Ryan Gosling, anytime I look at him, he makes a face as though somebody farted, and he just sniffed the fart. That's anytime I look at Ryan Gosling, that's what he looks like. I am not excited. He's very subdued. He doesn't bring this kind of enthusiasm that I would want in somebody playing like a Jedi or something in a Star Wars movie. I am not excited about this movie. Sean Levy also. Listen, he may have done Deadpool and Wolverine. Maybe that was kind of funny. I don't see what this movie is going to be, and I have very little faith in it, if it ever gets made.
Yeah, they're saying due out, announcing coming to theaters May 28th, 2027. If it makes that date, yeah, I don't know what I do.
It's going to be delayed 70 years.
There's no way. There's no way.
It's going to come out in 2028 if it ever even gets made. And then by then, so much is going to happen until 2028. And who knows even what this movie is.
Yeah.
Who's going to even care?
Who's going to know Disney even owns Star Wars anymore in 2028, right?
And why does Filoni always have that he's a cowboy? I don't even know.
All hat, no cattle.
I'm not convinced that he's a cowboy. Let's just put it that way.
No, that's
not a convincing
it's an
cowboy.
affectation. It's silly. So apparently Star Wars Starfighter is to be a standalone film. That's worked out real well for Star Wars so far. Standalone film that takes place 5 years after the rise of Palpatine. So, and supposedly beginning production this fall. We'll see about that.
We'll see. Now, The Mandalorian and Grogu, I clicked on something earlier on, and there was just like a title that said Mandalorian and Grogu. I didn't actually see any trailer after that. So I don't know what it is, what videos they've been removing.
Well,
But
there was one I saw. Drunk 3PO actually shared earlier on this evening, and it's been taken down now, so it's not out there anymore. But I'm sure, like I said, it'll probably be on YouTube the next day or two. But it was one that was shown directly there. Yeah, this is what you saw, the Mandalorian Grogu logo there. May 22nd, 2026. Woohoo! We're all so excited
we're
for this.
1 year away from a movie, which is basically the 4th season of the show that already went downhill and nobody cares about anymore.
Yep.
It is really, really, you know, it's really not reading the fan base or the fans or anything. Not that I even know what you could even do with fans right now. Instead of all of these, I'll let you play this in a second.
No, it's fine.
Instead of doing all this crap that they're doing, I would do something else. There was a way to do something a lot more cost effective. Don't do this convention thing. Don't do any of it. Go out. This is all that needed to happen. Do a press conference. This is if I was Bob Iger. If I quantum leap into Bob Iger, I summon a press conference. I go to the podium and I say, okay, I want to apologize to all of the Star Wars fans that for years have been really been treated poorly by the head of the studio, Kathleen Kennedy. I've made a tough decision, but I've decided that I have fired her. Security has escorted her off the property today. She will never be involved in another production of Star Wars again. We've also terminated the employment, and then he gives like a list of like Pablo Hidalgo and friends. We've terminated like all of their employment, and now moving forward, we have like a new team of people, and we're only interested in one thing. We want to give the fans something that they would enjoy. We're going to do everything in our power to bring something good and new and fresh to the table. We are sorry, and we are asking for us, give us a chance to try to make things right with you. That is maybe the only way that a few people will kind of say, okay, well, let's see what you do. Even then, you won't bring everybody back, but a few people may at least listen to it. The fact that they're continuing this charade with this thing in Japan, they're going to Japan because here in the US, if they did it, people would like fart on them. So instead, they're going somewhere else. Let's go to Japan. Maybe people are dumb there. They're not dumb. They just don't give a shit. Sorry, Sean. Now you can show your video.
That's fine. No, I was just going to say, here was where Drunk 3PO had shared the trailer that was
It's fine. It's better we don't see it because I don't want any trouble either.
But here is a screenshot taken from the trailer of Rada the Hutt. Ugh. Yeah, okay. Great. Wonderful. Show me more.
Looks awful.
So back to so this was Kathleen Kennedy welcomed Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau onto the stage along with Sigourney Weaver, and they were also showing off the BDX robot here, which is a real practical effect. I like that it's a real effect. That's cool. Whatever. It makes no sense that's supposed to be. That's like did you play the Star Wars Jedi Survivor games, Price, or see them?
I can't say that I did.
Okay, so they have the sort of companion in those is a little robot called BD1. Is kind of small little companion robot, and he's cute, right? He's a little little thing, and but like so this is supposed to happen like 30 years later, and it's just bigger and clunkier. I don't know. It's weird. It looks like that should be the earlier robot, not the other one. But anyway, there was that. This is the most embarrassing thing. What the hell is Pedro wearing?
He always dresses up like some freak. I don't know what he wants. Why? Like most people, they just dress normal. He's always wearing like weird pajamas and touching like the women. Oh, I have anxiety. I have to put my hand on her ass and like wear pajamas. I don't know what the fuck it is with this guy. Sorry, Sean. I don't want to see him in every movie. I don't particularly enjoy his weird. Either he's trying to be weird and cool, or he is weird and cool. There was also some. Did you see that picture that he's like embracing Oscar Isaac and like petting him? Did you
Oh,
see that?
yes, yeah, they're all,
What
like,
what is
hugging or
wrong with
whatever.
this guy? What is
Yeah,
wrong with this
oh,
guy?
jeez, yeah. So,
Sorry.
yeah, he's wearing knee-high, like, work boots and that or they have, like, leather things over the top of him, and then he's got shorts on and a baggy shirt, like, what the hell, dude?
He's such a
What?
weirdo. I don't like
He's
this.
such a
First of
freak.
all, you need to look cool. You're coming out and you want to give people the feeling that you're the Mandalorian. Come out and look like a cool dude. What the fuck is this? What are you wearing? What are you, Pippi
Okay,
Longstocking? What is
come
he
out
wearing?
dressed in the costume, Pedro, and then
Sorry,
take the
sorry for
helmet
using
off
bad language.
and let everyone be surprised that it's you and not the not your stunt double who does most of the acting in the in the show.
Come out wearing these cool pants. It's fine if you want to wear boots. You know what I mean? It's fine if you want to wear boots. Wear a nice black collared jeans or something over it. Come out with like a cool shirt and like maybe a jacket. He looks like he's he lives in Sweden in the 1940s, and he's like chopping lumber in a forest.
It's just like the shorts and the leggings or boots or whatever. So all you see is his little knobby ass knees sticking out in between the shorts. Jesus, what the
He's so
hell?
annoying. What does this guy want? E.
Oh,
Clay Thomason
jeez.
said he's like one of those 5-year-olds whose mother lets him dress in whatever he wants whenever he
Yeah,
wants.
yeah, I don't get it. I really don't get it. He wears weird stuff like that all the time. I think he thinks he's some sort of fashion plate, I guess. That he's like setting trends or something. But yes, apparently he lost the bet and he had to wear the puffy shirt on stage instead of Seinfeld. So
It looks
yeah,
absolutely awful.
more of
Absolutely
him in,
awful,
in
this
the
thing.
puffy shirt there. Um, so there's a little bit more of Ryan Gosling and Sean Levy. I don't really hate either of these guys. I think Sean Levy made some really fun movies when with all of the with all the Deadpool films. I think I would like to see something fun from him. I don't mind Ryan Gosling. He's not my favorite, but I don't hate him. I don't. There's nothing that I've seen him in that's given me a reason to say, "Oh, gag! I never want to see him in a movie again." Right? I didn't see Barbie, but so maybe that's that's something. But I'm told I would actually really enjoy the performance of Ken if I'm going to enjoy anything in the film.
I would have preferred Glenn Powell over
Yeah.
Ryan Gosling, and not only that, I want to add another thing. Glenn Powell, I like that actor, but based on the movies and projects that he's been cooking up, I feel like we're about to get a wave of crappy movies from Glenn Powell. Every time it's like some remake and something, the more I read, the more I get annoyed. Today, I think there was an article. It's like Glenn Powell is teaming up with Judd Apatow to do a movie about a country singer that it's funny because he's down on his luck and he's a country singer. All of this sounds like shit to me. I personally, Judd Apatow, he had a moment where his humor was kind of funny, but you know what? Over the years, I'm growing sick of him and sick of him outside of his movies, and even his movies that I think that have done more damage for comedy than good. Because like he always wants to pretend like he's like fancy comedy. You're not fancy comedy. You made some comedies. Now shut up. Sorry.
No,
Sorry, John.
no, it's fine.
Anyhow, Glenn Powell, I think, is making shitty movies. He's like a remake of this, a remake of that. I'm teaming up with this guy. I'm teaming up with that guy. It's like he's done a million deals and none of them sound good to me. Whereas Star Wars, I think he could have been cool in a Star Wars movie, especially in kind of like a pilot Han Solo type of role. I'm not saying it has to be exactly like that, but some kind of a rugged kind of guy that's like witty and kind of a bit of a douche. I think he would have been really good at that if you would have made him, maybe even in this movie, he would have been a good fit more than Ryan Gosling. Ryan Gosling is a boring, he's boring and very kind of dry and boring for me. He's not the worst actor. He also he doesn't bring a lot of charisma and excitement to his roles for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, there's more Ryan Gosling waving at you. Oh, more.
That's the best thing that happened to them. And as much as I don't like him, I agree. That's like their best news that they have Ryan Gosling and Sean Levy, and I don't even think that they're right for this.
Yep. Oh, and we are getting a story pack for Star Wars Outlaws. Can't wait.
That game is already dead in the water. What story pack do they even need?
Oh, that's loud. Sorry.
Did they make the woman look like a woman, or she still looks like
hell
a dude?
no. She still looks like a dude with a giant lantern
Screw
jaw.
that game.
Of course.
Coordinates are set.
It's you against us, Hondo.
Your fortune is for you.
Oh, she's gonna team up with Hondo. Okay.
It is time we made our move.
Yeah, still looks like ass. No interest whatsoever in that.
By the way, let's look at this. Director Takashi Yamazaki.
Yep. Apparently
he's
going to be showing up there at Celebration. They're saying he's getting some sort of Star Wars project going forward. So,
man, I feel like Star Wars has become, and especially under Kathleen Kennedy and Disney, has become like a graveyard for creativity and directors and things like that. Takashi Yamazaki was like our only hope. You know, he did Godzilla -1. I'm so excited to see what else this director can do. Yet somehow bringing him into this Star Wars machine where they're going to tell him that he needs to do reshoots every second, and they're shoving all their propaganda in there. I wonder what's going to happen out of all of that. Because generally speaking, if they actually let him do whatever he wanted and just say, hey, do whatever you want, maybe he could do something. Maybe he could do something. But with these people that are working with him, with this regime, I don't know how that's going to happen.
yeah.
And I hope it's not going to be some kind of disaster.
I know exactly what's going to happen. If KK's still there and and there is a production that moves forward with him at the helm, he will be fired. And they'll bring someone else in. Just like they've done with numerous other projects. They've canned the creatives that are behind it because they didn't toe the line and do exactly what they were told and make the crap ass movie that KK wanted them to make with all the, various different ideologies and stuff shoved into it. If he sticks to his guns and says, no, I'm not going to do it, he'll be fired. That's what's going to happen. I honestly don't think the movie's going to get made, period.
Yeah.
Just like some 80% of the projects that have been announced, it will never actually come to fruition. It's getting closer to 90%, I think, at this point, of projects that have been announced to be produced in Star Wars and then disappeared. So, and it's hilarious that they're bringing up these others saying, "Oh, they're in production. This movie's in production. We're making this whatever." They've been in production for several years. If you went and you looked at like the announcements from Star Wars Celebration 2023, they were talking about a movie from James Mangold in production. They were talking about a movie from Charbine Obaid-Chinoy in production like 2 years ago. And not a thing has happened.
Nobody knows anything. There's no screenplay. They hired this guy, then this guy walked, then that guy walked, then this guy walked. This is all crap.
Oh, we're getting...
Why do none of these videos show me Kathleen Kennedy? I want to see her face when all this crap.
Oh, yeah.
Is that a new photo? That looks like an old photo.
I had no idea.
That looks like a stock photo of her.
That's posted to the Star Wars X account, so who knows?
Right, but it doesn't show that she's there now. Let me see her what she looks like now at this stupid event. Oh, they rolled out Hayden Christensen again. What does he want?
Of course. Yeah, I mean, he's
got. Listen, I like him, but man, they just keep rolling him out.
The Chosen One, Hayden Christensen, thanks fans, and kicks off Celebration. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I like Hayden Christensen. I don't have anything against him. I generally, I like him. But man, at this point, he's become like a check collector. They know that they don't have each time they want to get fans excited, they basically call him to come out and do this crap.
Yep. He's out there wandering around asking for, look, someone made him a Darth Vader cake. He's going to eat some. Yeah, okay.
Listen, like I said, I don't dislike the guy, but man, he knows already. Now he's just collecting a check. He's Anakin check collector.
Yeah, they're talking to Ryan Gosling. What message he has for the
Want to
fans?
share with the fans, in this moment when you're first just stepping into this journey.
I think the Force is a mysterious thing, but I think as I'm here, I feel like the Force is the fans, and
I smell the
I
fart.
think all we can hope for is that may the fans be with us.
That's beautiful.
He doesn't know what he's doing there.
No,
They probably have no idea what that movie is. They announced something. They don't know what it is. He doesn't know what he's doing there. He's just winging it, talking some nonsense. Pedro, the Swiss 1954 Swedish log cutter.
We have looks like a new trailer, Light and Magic season 2. Okay, sure. A Phantom Menace panel. Who cares? Oh, a trailer for the new season of Andor.
They've already shown it. Yeah,
Yeah, I've
it's
already seen that, and it comes out. It's just a few days from now. It comes out, so I don't really.
It comes out in a few days, and nobody cares. I may watch it because I watched the first part.
I'll watch it.
And relatively speaking, consider all things considering, it's one of the least crappy things that Star Wars has put on Disney Plus. Even that wasn't, it was kind of boring in parts, but I don't know.
Yeah, it looks like that's most of what's going on. Now there's a bunch of panels and stuff that are going on, but yeah, I just
Filoni and Pedro Pascal. This is just I can't even hear the sound, and it annoys me.
Oh,
Wait,
yeah.
Put the sound on. Put on the come on.
I've never hanging here today that I realize I've never had to be with the same people for such a long amount of time. It's been 6-7 years.
A long time.
You won't leave me alone.
No, I thought when I started Clone Wars, it was a 2-year job, and this is 20 years. So get ready. You're in it now.
Yeah,
you're in it now.
It's being here today that I realized.
Yeah, it was 6-7 years that I've recorded my lines remotely and sent them in instead of actually showing up on set and putting on a costume. Yeah, we know, Pedro. We know.
Yeah. And man, that show took such a nosedive in the third season where they turned him into a joke.
The first season was solid. It was fun. We got some little adventures here and there. It worked well. The dynamic. You got a lot of Japanese influences in there, and in telling some of the stories of sort of lone wolf and cub kind of storytelling with them going on different adventures together. You got the second season, which was all right. It got interrupted by some weird stuff like throwing Boba Fett in there and whatnot. It was weird. But it was okay. I enjoyed some of the stories in that, and then others not so much. It was pretty uneven, but it ended on a really high note. It ended with defeating the bad guy from the first season. It ended with Luke showing up and taking Grogu and saying, "All right, I'm taking this, from here. I'm going to help train him as a Jedi." And you think, "All right, now we're going to get back to seeing him live his life as a bounty hunter." You already get to see him go out, chase bounties, do his bounty hunter thing, deal with all of this whatever that's happening with the Mandalorians. But they come in, they mess with it, they force them to take Grogu back into the story, and everything just goes to hell. The third season was a just awful mess. From one episode to the next, all sorts of stuff that made no sense whatsoever. It was a laughing stock compared to the previous 2 seasons. Some of the worst things I've ever seen.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. Every word.
I want good Star Wars prize.
I think that, like I said, they have to do something that's many years in the future. They have to make it clear that anything that happened after Return of the Jedi was nonsense. I'm willing to delete anything from the Disney era. I have no sentiments regarding anything. I don't care. Whatever you tell me, it's like, what about this? I don't care. Delete it. keep only the original trilogy and the prequels. I'm okay. Reinstate those, delete everything else, and then just move forward. Jump forward 100 years after the Skywalkers. A whole different plot is unfolding. Forget about all that other crap. That's probably the only chance they have to save it. And with this creative team, it's not going to work anyways.
Fractured 01 in the Rumble chat says Star Wars is a dead IP at this point.
It is.
I know, Fractured. I know. I have loved Star Wars for as long as I can remember.
Agua says, watch the original movie, dude. Everything else is crap. I agree.
Yeah.
There's
No,
nothing
you're
for me
not
to
wrong.
say.
You're not wrong. There's a reason
no.
I went out of my way to have full 4K versions of 4K 77 and 4K 80, 4K 83, eating up 60 plus gigs a piece on my hard drive because I want to go back and experience those movies that I remember and love from my childhood. I don't want stupid crap being inserted in them and all this CGI garbage that Lucas added later. I want the movies that I loved and enjoyed as a kid, and so I go back and I watch the movies that I loved and enjoyed as a kid, and I still enjoy them. The new films have not ruined Star Wars for me. The classic Star Wars, I can still go back and love and enjoy those movies, but God, then I would love for some new Star Wars to come out and recapture the magic of those original films, but I just don't see it happening. I don't know that it's possible anymore.
I don't know that it's possible either, but we can only do what we do. And by the way, when you were showing that Star Wars Outlaws games, the thing where the woman looks like a man,
Yeah.
it reminded me of exactly the controversy, quote unquote, with Asmongold today. I personally, I don't really talk a lot about Asmongold. I was having this conversation with my friend Erwin at Nerd Wars today, and he was saying that the fact that Asmongold says the kind of stuff that he says, it's good because he used to be a little more woke and like he's become more based. He has a large following, and what I told him, and I've said this to you before, is I guess it's better that somebody like him says the type of things that we believe or we say. But I also remind people, even I reminded Erwin of this, and I remind everybody else, that I've been here since about 2017, 2018, talking about how entertainment was being ruined. I was one of the early people that was criticizing Lucasfilm and Disney and things like that. And at the time when we were saying this, we were such a small group of people. And a lot of the news people, even if they're on the right, even if it's like Fox News or if it's like the Daily Wire or things like that, they were all kind of making light of this situation. They didn't take it seriously. Whether it's movies or TV shows or games or IPs or whatever it is, everybody kind of didn't take it seriously. Only in more recent years did a lot of these people with a large following suddenly jump on the bandwagon. And with all due respect to Asmongold, that I don't know him and I don't have anything personal against him, I'll say that he is very late to the party. And yes, you can say like better late than never, but I'm not as excited. People are like, wow, he said it. Wow, Megyn Kelly said it. Wow, Matt Walsh said something. Listen, those are, it's all fine. I just gave a few examples, but they weren't here from the beginning. That's all I'm going to say. That they, and this is something that even Erwin admitted. People like us, and I say this also of you because you've been in my circle for a long time also, Professor R2. We've been, first on Twitter, then on streams, then to different things. Our paths have crossed throughout the years. Back in the day, when you said like, hey, this thing is woke, or there's too much weird swapping and weird agenda and things, people would say, you're an istinophobe. Everybody would pile up on you. Think this is the time when like Elon didn't even own X. You know what I mean?
Oh,
You
yeah.
had Twitter. People it was designed in a way that all these people would pile up on every opinion that went against the grain. And we were the ones that kind of absorbed all the hate and all the arrows, and were really kind of fighting a system that was designed to shut us up. I was on Twitter shadow banned time and time again and shut up, in my opinion, by studios. This is my opinion, time and time again, for criticizing them. And today you have some guy that would quietly, built a fan base of millions of people by going with the grain, and finally, when it's trendy, goes against the grain. So is that better than nothing? Sure. But am I that excited? Not excited. So I guess Asmongold today said, "Oh, why in games do women not look like women? If you made them look like more feminine, it would help, or that's what male gamers want, or whatever it is." And everybody was like, "We can't believe he said it. He's so based." It's like, dude, we've been saying stuff like that for years. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't
Absolutely.
care, but he has a large following. He's based now. He's going to get backlash. He doesn't care. It's fine. It's better than nothing. I don't have anything against the guy. I don't know him. But yeah, I'm not jumping for joy either. And you could say that I sound like a bitter jerk, and maybe that's what it sounds like. I don't have anything against these people, but at the same time, why should I get excited over them, jumping on the bandwagon now when it's trendy with their following that they built by going with the grain rather than against it?
Oh yeah, it's gotten much more safe for people to take those kind of stances, right? And again, I'm not necessarily accusing Asmongold of just hopping on the bandwagon. Maybe he's had opinions like this for a long time. Maybe he, felt pressure not to say them. I don't know. I don't know any of that stuff. But yeah, uh I did see something of what he had to say about yeah, maybe make the women attractive in your game, and maybe that will help sell copies. It's like yeah, duh.
Right. I mean, it's nice that he said it, but it's like, exactly, it's duh. Like, that's what we've been saying, things like that for years. He didn't like, invent the wheel here or anything. You just said something it's pretty much like a Captain Obvious situation. And I don't mean to sound grumpy about it. Also, I was talking about that with Irwin and with Angry Badger when I was talking to them earlier. And I also told them that I think that maybe the way the election went, it gave a lot of people that were maybe sort of in the middle or on the fence or more quiet about their opinions. Suddenly, it gave them some more confidence to go out and just say, you know what? I'm just going to say what I think now. And that's very nice, but they are very, very, very late to the party. It's fine that you're saying that now, but I don't have the same. And this is what I was telling them, and I'll leave it alone. We put in. It's not only that we stood for something or anything like that. We put in the time. You know what I mean? Like, we were sitting online for a long time. Every time there was a narrative somebody was trying to peddle, we were there to combat it. You know what I mean? We were there at every corner. We were there really fighting. And at that time, all those people weren't there. That's all I'll say. They didn't quite put in the work, but they're picking the fruits of our labor.
Yeah, there have been a lot of people who've been out there. I mean, you get a number of people like some of the more people with bigger followings like the Critical Drinker and Doomcock. They've been saying this stuff for a really long time, but they're not the only ones, right? You and a bunch of other YouTubers out there have been talking about this stuff for ages. And we've been talking about this stuff in chat and in in other places, like you said, like on X, Twitter, other areas where we've been talking about this stuff for ages, about how it's eating away at these intellectual properties. It's eating away at the gaming industry, and we've got to get away from it. It's ultimately going to destroy all these things, and a lot of people said that, and guess what? It's happened. The gaming industry is in full collapse right now. Basically, every AAA studio is scrambling to either adjust and cancel titles so that they can try and turn the tide one way or the other, or they're the Ubisofts who are in total collapse and having to be bailed out by Chinese developers to be able to continue operating. So
Nope.
it's wild.
We got a Rumble rant from Kivo 1961
Yes.
6 minutes ago. He said best role Ryan Gosling has done was the Beavis and Butthead skit on SNL. The only thing is, for some reason, I'm not able to share his
Oh. For some reason, he's not able to share it. I think that's because he locked up, or was it me?
Professor?
Yeah, I think we both got booted at the same.
Got booted out. Let's see. The donations. It kicked out the donations, man. I'm trying to
Oh
find it.
no, that's all right. We can find it. We can find it here. We can find it.
So I can't quite find it, but let me do this.
Here, I got it. I got it.
You got
Give
it?
me 2 shakes. All right. We will share. Here you go. Kivo 1961 for $2. Best role Ryan Gosling has done was the Beavis and Butthead skit on SNL. I don't think I remember that, Kivo. I'm gonna have to go
I
see if I
think I
can
may have
find that
seen that.
on
I think I may
find
have
it on
seen that.
YouTube. It sounds familiar, but I don't actually like remember it.
I vaguely remember something. It's like I sort of remember something like that happening. So
Yeah. Well, truth be told, if it was Saturday Night Live sometime in the past 20 years, I didn't watch it. So,
somebody said I like The Nice Guys with Gosling and Russell Crowe. Probably that's the best movie.
Okay, yeah.
That's probably
I'll
the
give you
best
that one.
movie I've seen Gosling in. It helps that Russell Crowe is in there because I think Russell Crowe really helps the movie, but I didn't dislike Gosling in that movie. Another example of a movie that I saw him and I didn't completely hate him was The Fall Guy, which I thought that he gave a decent performance. But these are far and few between. He's not the kind of guy that you say, this is a Ryan Gosling movie, and immediately I get this kind of feeling that, wow, this is going to be epic. He's usually just very, very kind of mellow and not in a good way. And even kind of very dry, kind of very generic action movies. He did this thing called The Gray Man that the Russo brothers concocted, and man, was that disappointing. He just felt so generic. He didn't even bring like the Jason Statham vibe. You know what I mean? He didn't bring any vibe. It just felt so kind of blank. I don't know if you ever saw that movie, but I really didn't love it. And his a few attempts as like one-liners came out so poorly. I just think he's very overrated, Ryan Gosling, for me. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I always chalked Ryan Gosling up to eye candy for the ladies. I never really felt like he was a particularly talented actor.
Right, and this is the funny thing that at the end, with all the bullshit with Kathleen Kennedy and all of her stupid crap that she did with Star Wars, her big thing is that she brought Ryan Gosling. Another thing, that's good for the ladies. I feel like, why don't you bring an actor that feels more like, I don't know. I think that Glenn Powell is doing some crappy movies, but I think that he could have been like a charismatic guy that could have taken on a role like this. Maybe there's a few other actors. There's certainly people that you could have put in roles that are more exciting or more kind of charismatic. Ryan Gosling is again her another misstep on her end, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe Sean Levy and him will end up being brilliant. I don't think that that's what the franchise needs. I think it needed like maybe some people may not agree with me, but like a Christopher Nolan movie with like a great cast. And good Christopher Nolan, like the Dark Knight Christopher Nolan, because what he's doing now with Odyssey and all these weird things that he's doing, I feel like he's starting to like inflate like a fart, Christopher Nolan. You know what I'm saying? I feel like he's reached that point of his career where so many he's sniffing so many farts that it's starting to like inflate his ego.
Okay. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
Do you get what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
he had the Dark Knight, he did this stuff, then he's like, now I'm doing this, now I'm doing like, Oppenheimer. I think that Oppenheimer probably going to have a negative effect on him. Meaning, instead of having that movie and saying, okay, I got some awards, people told me I was great, let's move on. Now it's like, how do I get even more awards? Do you get what I'm saying? Let me do Odyssey, whatever it is. Like, let me bring. What if Elliot Page was in the Odyssey? I don't know. There's some fart sniffing going on, and I have a bad feeling about it. James Cameron was brilliant early on, and then he made Titanic, and people gave him a bunch of awards. And since then, his movies have been like one big fart as well. Profitable farts, but farts nevertheless. Nonetheless.
Yes. Yes.
People probably are listening to this stream and thinking to themselves, what is Price talking about?
Well, I agree with Asmongold on this one. If you would put more attractive ladies into video games, you would sell more copies. I don't think that's a particularly difficult thing to say or to recognize as truth. If you got rid of the lantern-jawed, manly women from the games and replaced them with women, and it doesn't even have to be like gooner stuff, right? They don't have to be in tiny, skimpy little outfits, jiggling everywhere. They don't have to, give us all sorts of fan service with the upskirt shots and whatever. Like, just put some women in the game that are feminine. It's not that hard.
Good night, Jamalama. Thanks
Good
for
night,
hanging out with
Jamalama.
us. So basically, Based Pepe Lord says, who is playing the sock puppet and who is R2D2? This is a strange question. Basically, we're our own personality. What you call the sock puppet, I'm known as Price of Reason. Known to who, I don't know, but that's how people refer to me. And the robot is Professor
Yes.
R2. So
yes,
hopefully this was an explanation. And if
educated...
you've stumbled upon this stream, this is a Rumble driven stream that we do every Tuesday and Thursday, where we discuss all the latest in pop culture news, TV and movie reviews, gaming news, and just general conversations of the day. That's what we do here. We're happy to have you here. And if you like what we do, and others also, make sure to like, make sure to follow us or subscribe or whatever platform you're watching. If you're on Rumble and you're watching through the app and you haven't yet signed up, you should definitely do it. It's free, and we highly recommend that. So, got that out of the way. What were you saying, Professor?
No, I was just saying the educated droid with opinions. That's me.
That is the Professor. This is like this is our version of the Tonight Show. This is like the Tonight Show for people that are offbeat and based.
Hey, you know what? We probably do better numbers than Jimmy Kimmel.
You're right. It's funny because those late night shows have become kind of intolerable. It's just
they have.
so difficult to watch. Colbert, is just he's not a comedian. I don't know what he does these days. Maybe he used to be. He's not a comedian now. His thing is just a pure propaganda kind of show. Jimmy Kimmel also whines about politics all the time. The only one out of the three that at least pretends to try to entertain you is Jimmy Fallon. I don't think he's overly political. The only problem is that he kind of, most of the time he's like playing like charades with people. It's fine, but I really don't care. You know what I'm saying?
I have never liked Jimmy Fallon.
Again,
From his earliest days on Saturday Night Live, I did not like him. I still don't like him.
The thing with Saturday Night Live is that almost every sketch he was on, he kind of ruined it because he would break character and laugh.
Yeah, constantly, every time. He's always breaking. He was always corpsing. I couldn't stand it.
Almost any like skit he was in, he would just start laughing and ruin it. And I will say, I've said it before, there is one thing that I think that Jimmy Fallon does well. When it comes to like impressions, that it comes to like pretending he's Bob Dylan and singing a song in a funny way, pretending he's Bruce Springsteen, pretending he's David Bowie, musical impressions, the guy I think is pretty legit. I think that if he did a show that he was like coming out and doing like funny songs as these different characters, I think people would genuinely like him because that's something that he does well. As an interviewer, he always has this very kind of childish vibe that he's just kind of has a strange laugh and not really letting his show breathe. If that makes sense.
No, yeah, I know what you mean.
And if you ever watch like Johnny Carson, like old kind of on YouTube, old clips, you see a guy that that he just had like a half a bottle of whiskey sitting with a few other and I mean this in the best way, a few other jackasses, but I mean it in the best way. Like they probably all had like a bunch of whiskey and they're sitting there, and it's like it feels like such a cool atmosphere. You know what I mean? It feels like he's generally hanging out with people and they're shooting the breeze sometimes and it's fun. I don't feel that way with Jimmy Fallon because he's kind of childish. You know what I mean? He's not that kind of guy that's been around the block a few times with the whiskey. He just feels like like I said, he's playing like charades and like spin the donkey or whatever it is. Is there something called spin the donkey?
I'm sure there's a version of it that you could call spin the donkey.
You know what I'm saying? It's like
pin the tail on the donkey, I think is what you're
right.
going for.
Pin the tail on the donkey. That's
but you could, if you wanted, the donkey could be spinning while you try to put the. I don't know.
On Jimmy Fallon's show, he's gonna spin the donkey. That's what he's gonna do. He's gonna spin the donkey, and he has like the Roots there. The Roots are a very talented band, and they just kind of sit there, and he tells his stupid jokes, and they all look like depressed. I don't know, man. I mean, maybe they're not depressed; they're getting paid very well. But man, that just and really, out of the three shows between Kimmel, Colbert, and Fallon, if you forced me to watch one now, if you said you have to watch one, I would probably only be able to watch Fallon. Not love it, but at least at minimum, he doesn't like lecture you about politics every second. So that's the only reason why I would find myself watching him if you forced me to. But yeah, so I don't know how we got to that because some guy was asking Base Pepe Lord.
Yeah, we do have a couple of super chats over on the YouTube side.
Oh, nice. Okay. Hold on one second. Let's share that. So we have If I Did It for, I guess, Australian $2, I think.
Yep.
Price making farts great again. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. What did I say about farts? I don't even know. I said a few things. And then Sebrew says, please say, I guess, for fuck's sake, Price of Reason.
Yes. Say it with conviction, Price.
Say it with a conviction. For fuck's sake, Price of Reason.
There we go.
Or in some cases, I don't know if this is the same situation. When I'm on Nerd Wars, sometimes people want me to sing it, but I don't know if that's what he wanted here. People usually, for some reason, I'm supposed to sing like, for fuck's sake, cancel Disney Plus. Like I always have this stupid thing. My throat is a bit sore. So I don't know if that was the reason he said it, but for fuck's sake, I'm Price of Reason. But I didn't really think of a good melody for it. But here you go. I did both variations of it.
There you go. You got something. You got your $2 there.
You got your $2.
You got your value for your
I said
money.
it, and sorry, Sean, for the cursing.
Yeah, sorry,
in any
Sean.
case, I feel like Base Pepe Lord is starting to understand our humor.
He's getting there.
Barbara Lauren says, I missed the Colbert Report. That was the last time that Stephen Colbert was funny. But the reason he was funny is that show worked because on one hand, he was playing like a right-wing pundit, but at the same time, through the right-wing pundit, he would make jokes about like the left side, which were legitimate jokes about the left side, but his extreme way that he behaved also sort of poked fun at the right side. So you had a show that sort of pokes fun all across the board, and I think whether you were leaning one way or another, or sort of a middle-of-the-road person like myself, there was a lot to enjoy from that Colbert show initially. The second they gave him the CBS gig, he stopped with all of that. He just took the agenda and started like spitting it out. It's not comedy any longer. It's a disgrace because David Letterman really built something great. He was the real deal, David Letterman, and Stephen Colbert just came in and took a dump all over it, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, just ruined it.
Yes, and then There are times when saying "excuse me" is more insulting than "fuck." Maybe. In any case, I'm trying to think. You know what show I watched this week? I watched the end of.
Did you watch the end of
We said we
Daredevil?
talked about Daredevil. That we of
Yeah.
course we watched the end of that. I think we talked about it that day. It was all right. Like we said, it's not a perfect show. It's certainly not as good as the Netflix show. It is what it is. No, I was talking about a show that probably only I watch it. I feel like the show has one viewer, and the viewer is me. You know what the show that is?
What's that?
Bosch Legacy.
Bosch. Okay. Yeah. Actually, I think my mom watches that show.
I am in good company. I am in good company. Me and your mom, we're the two viewers that this show has.
She enjoys a good procedural. That's one of the thing that she enjoys. But I don't know. I think she's actually read their books. I think that it's
Yeah,
based off
I
of.
didn't
I think
read the books.
she was into. I think she wanted to get into it because it was based on some books that she had read. So
let me see if anybody else even watched this third season. Seasons. I feel like so few people watched it that I don't even think it has nobody reviewed it. The third season has 3 ratings from audience members that watched it and 4 critics, I guess. I watched the show, and I'll tell you what, I like a good procedural too. And I like the original show, and then they kind of made this Bosch Legacy. It's sort of the continuation of the show. Really long story, but basically after about 10 years of this detective, this is probably the end of the road. I actually wish they hadn't canceled it. I was enjoying it. I like Bosch, and I like Bosch Legacy, and I'm not afraid to say that.
So this Bosch Legacy, now this one is he's stepping back and his daughter.
Okay. No.
No?
I was worried
Or
about that as well, but let me tell you what happened. This is what I think happened. You had about 7 or 8 seasons, I don't remember now, of the original Bosch show. The Bosch show, he's a detective. He's solving cases, he's doing his thing, and it's all about him. Then one day they said, well, this show is ending, and we're starting a new show called Bosch Legacy, where he's the star of. His daughter, which was actually in the original series, she's older now, and she wants to become a cop herself, like a rookie cop. This lawyer that he would go back and forth with, almost like a Tom and Jerry situation, he's more aligned with now. And she's running for politics and things like that. It focuses more on these 3 characters. Now, I think that one of the main reasons they did this is probably after 7 or 8 seasons, the budget of that original show, the cast members, the salaries, probably really inflated. This was a way of sort of starting a clean slate, but he is still very much the main character. Do you get what I'm saying? It's not like this is now all about his daughter and now he's just, arrives once in a while. His daughter, you see her and she's trying to become a cop and things like that, but it's not the annoying girl boss that you'd think it is. Do you get what I'm saying? It doesn't suddenly give you a middle finger. He's still the detective that's solving. Now he's like a private detective. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
And I actually enjoyed this show. I'm not saying that the show reinvented the wheel, but you know what? This is much better than all those kind of NCIS or whatever it is. You watch those NCIS and you're watching just a bunch of nonsense that's poorly written and poorly made. And you're not poorly made, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I got you.
I guess what I'm saying is that the procedurals that you see in these kind of main networks prime time have become very kind of generic and stupid. Maybe early on in NCIS in the first few seasons there was some merit behind it. These days I don't feel the same way about it. You know what I mean? Over the years a lot of these procedurals are just kind of dumb. I feel like Bosch is more intelligent. Maybe because it's based on books that an author that's really good at this actually wrote. I think that the series is a really, really kind of cool detective noir, whatever you want to call it. I like it. I like the original series. I like the Legacy one. And I am sorry that they're ending it. I know I was the only viewer. but I enjoyed this thing. Me and your mom. Me
Yep.
and your mom were watching it.
All good things must come to an end, I suppose. But
I understand that it was only me and your mom watching this show, but I enjoyed it. That's all I'll say. And when you see your mom, tell her that I understand how she feels. She probably is not happy that this is ending as well.
well, she'll just go back to watching reruns of Magnum PI. That's her usual.
I see. This was a little more gritty. This was like, it was much better than what you see on TV, like on your standard procedural. I don't think it's fair to call this a procedural. The other thing I'll say is that every season there's like a number of plot lines and arcs that like get handled within that season. It's not that like every episode he like catches a different criminal. Do you get what I'm saying?
Sure. Yeah.
See, what like the NCIS formula is like, it starts off, there's a murder, then it's like it's almost like the same thing every time. They look at the lab, who talked to him? It's this guy. They talk to like 3 suspects. By the end, they bring like some guy to the interrogation room, and he doesn't even ask for a lawyer. He just confesses to everything, and everybody like they take him out in handcuffs, and they all like high five each other, and the show ends. This isn't that kind of show. This actually has real arcs and real stories. It's pretty well done.
More of a detective type of show than a
Yeah,
procedural then.
grim detective. That's what I think. Not that I have anything against Magnum PI. That was a pretty cool show back in the day. I don't have anything against Magnum PI.
Not the remake.
No,
Screw the remake.
The remake wasn't for me. I don't know. I tried watching it. I wasn't feeling it. The fact that Higgins was a woman and then he was like banging her was very weird to me.
Yeah.
I feel like they took that whole thing in a very strange direction.
Yeah.
I don't. Do you know what I'm talking about? That Higgins was a woman. I was banging her, or am I now imagining?
I only watched one episode of it. I don't think I saw anything with him banging female Higgins. So it was terrible. I had no interest at all in coming back to it. So
E. Clay Thomas says the last season of regular Bosch was so woke I couldn't go back to it. I don't remember now. Maybe there was something with like the captain that she was like trying to Me Too somebody. Maybe there was something like that. I'll give you something that there was one of those final seasons that there were like, a little bit of a bit of that crept in there. Maybe it was inevitable, but I really I feel that with the exception of maybe like a very brief a brief encounter of that in the late season, I think that generally speaking, that show was not woke, and I didn't feel it was woke. Even the Bosch Legacy thing. Sometimes showrunners make a mistake. Maybe they had an activist writer that thought there was a good idea to introduce there. I wouldn't say that the show is like completely woke or anything like that. That's just my opinion. Base Pepe Lord, is NCIS still airing or did they end it? They should have ended that years ago. If you watch NCIS now and you've ever watched it like many years ago, you will not recognize anybody there, I think. Basically, Gibbs, which is Mark Harmon, he's been gone for a number of years. I mean, it makes sense. The guy was already like in his 70s. How many years can be like the captain of like this kind of crew? You know what I mean? Like at the end in your 70s, you're probably not the captain of that crew. Probably retire. So that makes sense. But they had like Tony DiNozzo that was played by Michael Weatherly. He also like left years ago. You had Cote de Pablo playing Ziva. She left many years ago. Basically, every actor on this show, Ducky, the guy that played Ducky, he passed away. Most of the cast, if you started watching this show back in the day when it started, most of the cast that you recognize is no longer there.
Well, I can imagine it's been on for 22 years. Right?
Hey, you know what? Law and Order has been on for 22
to.
years, and Ice-T and like Mariska Hargitay are still on it. The only one that kind of jumped ship that didn't pass away and was still whatever was what's his name, Christopher Maloney, that plays Elliot Stabler. But then they gave him that stupid mafia show, the Law and Order Mafia, Law and Order. I don't remember what it's called.
I don't remember.
I tried watching it. It was awful. I can't. I mean, I don't really watch a lot of that Law and Order stuff these days, anyways. But if I had to, if it's late at night and I'm kind of like dozing off and I'm putting out something on, I could still watch like SVU. Maybe I could maybe watch the flagship show, the one Special Crimes or whatever they put like Christopher Maloney in as Stabler. That one I can't watch. I watched it a few times and I'm like, that's it. This is where I draw the line.
Yeah. So, how many NCIS spinoffs can you name, Price?
Okay. So there's NCIS, like the flagship show. Then there was NCIS Los Angeles. Then there was NCIS Hawaii. There was NCIS New Orleans that had Scott Bakula completely wasted in that role.
Yep.
He collected a good paycheck, though. I'll give him that. So that's 3. We said Hawaii, Los Angeles, New Orleans, the main flagship one.
Yep.
I think there was something called NCIS Origins that they're like, what if he was young now? Or some shit like, sorry, Sean.
Yep.
Some shit like that. Origins, NCIS, was there another one that I'm missing? Oh, NCIS Sydney.
Yes.
There's that. And this is pretty darn good. I may have missed
you did really well. There is only one more that you haven't
Oh,
called
NCIS
out.
International.
So there's a new one called Tony and Ziva that premieres in 2025.
Oh, they're actually going through with that crap?
Yeah.
All right. Well, since it didn't start yet, I feel like I'm
Yeah, you're
fine.
good. Oh man, you got them all. I would not have remembered all of those. So yeah, then so all told, you add all of the episodes together of the show, it has over 1,000 episodes across all the different shows.
I would think it had more. This has been going on for decades. I want to tell you something that's really weird. I was once invited. I did actually on Price of Reason Live on this channel on the YouTube side, maybe even on Rumble. I think I uploaded it maybe as well. I actually was invited to the premiere screening of NCIS Sydney. Did I ever tell you this?
No.
Okay, they did a premiere screening in New York. I don't remember why I was invited to this screening. And basically, I went to the screening, and when I arrived, they have like ladies walking around giving you cocktails. Like it was like a theater, rather upscale with really fancy recliners and everything. And ladies were coming out like, rather pleasant ladies were bringing out like cocktails. And I thought to myself, hey, that's pretty cool. So a lady they bring out like a tray and they have different types of cocktails. And I choose one thinking, I'm very excited because like drinking and watching this thing, that sounds like a good deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not paying for the cocktails, mind you. Like it's like a complimentary cocktail, so I'm really excited. But then, you know what the catch was?
Tell me.
There was no alcohol in the cocktails.
Oh no!
They were non-alcoholic cocktails, and that really, really made me sad. Like I was really bummed out that like they gave me cocktails with no alcohol. Because really, if you're going to watch NCIS Sydney on a big screen, you know what I mean? If you're going to watch like you watch the premiere episode on a big screen, you need some beverage. You know what I mean? Like if you're going to bring out a cocktail, there should be some whiskey in it, maybe vodka. I could have settled for vodka. I'm not greedy. You know what I mean? So in any case, I watched the thing with a cocktail, less cocktail drink with no alcohol. And you know what? Relatively speaking, maybe because they're in Australia and there was a bit of an Australian cast, like I didn't completely hate it. Like I watched it and I thought that in comparison to a lot of these other shows, I actually kind of liked it a little more. It reminded me of the early seasons of the original flagship show. I mean that in a good way. It's not like groundbreaking, it wasn't anything great, but on a kind of very mainstream network type of procedural, I thought it was rather pleasant, somewhat pleasant. So that's what happened with that Sydney one. But I thought it was funny that I was even invited to the premiere and that they had the cocktail without the alcohol. Always remember that. They did actually give me like a bag and all these kind of trinkets and like, souvenirs. So I think somewhere in my house I have like a bag of like NCIS Sydney. There was a bunch of weird crap inside that's like a coaster where I can put my own non-alcoholic beverages on if I please. So there is a video actually that's up on my channels where it's like me going to I don't think it has me at the premiere, but I show the bag and the different trinkets I got and stuff like that. And I even talk about the alcohol. It's funny because people probably want to hear my review, and I'm sitting there. I'm like, they didn't even put alcohol in my drink. That's what you get when you click on my review for NCIS Sydney.
Damn you! No alcohol.
Yeah, no, that's a real issue. It's a real issue that, like, when you think that you're going to Fractured 01, you need to be bored or drunk to watch it. The thing is that it's one thing if they wouldn't have given the cocktail, but the fact that a waitress comes and gives me the cocktail and there's no alcohol, I feel like that is a sneaky maneuver.
Bait and switch.
Bait and switch, for
Bait and
sure.
switch, right? Yep. Yeah,
So-
according to what I read here, that there are 49 seasons across all the NCIS shows and
I believe it.
1,048 episodes.
And now I'm going to surprise you with another review. I'm
Oh,
really
my.
going to surprise you here, okay?
Oh, my.
Let me think for myself. Yes, it's this thing. I actually have a recommendation. Let me see. Now, this show requires a little bit of suspension of disbelief, but I watched the first 2 episodes of Your Friends and Neighbors with John Hamm on Apple TV, and I have to say, I liked it. I was not bored. I was enjoying myself. It was fun to watch. It was well made. I think this was a really good role for John Hamm. 2 episodes in or something like that. Again, I admit that that you have to suspend some disbelief, but I don't know why I enjoyed it. Did you hear about this show?
I've heard a little bit about it, and I was kind of interested. I simply haven't had the time to watch it. So, yeah, interesting to hear that you're enjoying it.
Yeah. I am enjoying it, and much better than I thought it would be. I mean, I saw the commercial, I'm like, is this going to be any good? Who knows? But then I watched it. I like it. I am happy with it. I want to see where it goes. Now, again, I've seen 2 episodes. Maybe by the end, I'll be like, it went off a cliff. But the first few episodes start off in a way that keep me interested. I also, again, it seems stupid that I keep having to mention this kind of stuff. I didn't feel it was like overly woke or anything. It just felt like a show that you enjoy watching.
Yeah.
Base Pepe Lord said, has anyone seen the female Silver Surfer yet? That's hard to say quickly. We did. We were talking about it earlier. We're not big fans of it. So, yeah, we did cover that. So Your Friends and Neighbors, I thought was like a fun show. I'm looking forward to seeing more of it. You know what show came out that now people are kind of raving about, and I am not so excited about? So much to review today.
Yeah, what's that?
Have you heard of this show called The Studio?
Oh, yes, I have. Yeah, I have heard that people are absolutely in love with this. I have a real problem with this in that I absolutely loathe Seth Rogen.
I feel the same
cannot
way.
stand him.
I back in the day, early on in his career, I kind of like didn't mind him, but over the years, unfortunately, just his personality and his off-screen personality has become so kind of overbearing, overly political, and annoying that it's hard for me to really watch anything that he's in. This feels to me like a show. You know how Hollywood loves these kind of love letters, La La Land and this kind of stuff. Of course, like it has like a 96% from critics, but a 68% from audience, especially on Rotten Tomatoes, which is untrustworthy to begin with. Doesn't surprise me because I watched, I think, an episode or 2. I think I watched the first few episodes. I was just curious, just as a reviewer, to see what it is, and it annoys me. It annoys me because I feel like Seth Rogen is trying to create a different version of himself. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Reframe the narrative around his persona, meaning like in the show, he's just been made in charge of a studio, and like, oh shucks, he just wants to make like quality movies and stuff, but he's surrounded by so many like incompetent idiots that he's forced to like compromise and make crappy movies and stuff. And it's like, dude, shut up. You know what I mean? Like, I just, something about it annoys me because I feel like he's trying to push a certain narrative. He uses his kind of self-deprecating thing. He's almost trying to make himself like a Larry David within Hollywood. They don't call him Seth Rogen. I don't think I don't remember his name in this. Matt Remick, that's what they call him. But he's almost like a Larry David. You know what I'm saying? Like he's
Yeah.
trying to do his best to make quality movies, but somehow like the system is too powerful for him. And I don't know why this annoys me, specifically with Seth Rogen, because I feel like it's like a propaganda pedal,
Yeah.
almost
Yep.
like also in recent years, he knows that people thought he was annoying. So it's almost like a rehabilitation of what he wants people to think of him. And all of that I don't like. Who do you know that likes this, by the way?
I've just heard some. So I don't think I know anybody who's watched it. I've just read some stories here and there, saw some articles, people talking about it. I know there was some interview that one of the creators of the show did, saying essentially that Amazon's told them they can keep making this show for as long as, or not Amazon, Apple has told them that this show's a hit for them and they can keep making it as long as it's successful. So he says, "Oh, we've got 30 seasons of this show ready to go."
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to go for 30 seasons. Um, I'll try to find something I wanted to show you. And this, when I saw this clip, this is what annoyed me. Let me see if I can find this. Wait a second. The studio. I hope I bookmark this thing. I hope I can find this thing. I really want to find this video.
Yes.
I wish I would have. I probably didn't, saved this clip somewhere or bookmarked it.
As we all
Give me one
listen with anticipation as Price searches for something on his computer. It's
Tell some jokes, Professor.
compelling audio, right? Let's see anything going on in the chat. James Caserta says that Gavin Newsom is Gul Dukat. That's great. I love it.
Yes, I agree with you. I think that's a good description of him.
Slimy, greasy, sort of convinced of his own superiority, and that he's the only one. He's got that savior complex. He's the only one who's going to be able to save everybody. It's come on. It's going to be great.
Oh, I can't find this stupid thing. I wish I could. There's something that like annoys me. That the second I saw it, I already knew where this show is going and why it annoys me. Let's see if I can. I'm going to try again.
So did you see the news about what's going on in Britain now, Price, with their Supreme Court over there now ruling that men aren't women?
I saw something like that, and I thought I saw J.K. Rowling really happy about it, and people were getting annoyed with her.
Yes, quite a few people over there very happy about it. And of course, all of the Transformers saying that now they're afraid to go out, they're afraid to go on a jog, they're afraid to go to the doctor, all sorts of different things. I think maybe this is the start of the return of some sanity to to the UK, hopefully. That finally, nobody has to, cover for this anymore and say, "Oh yeah, of course, yeah, you're a woman, yeah, because you said so and you put on a dress." Like, no, there's biological reality. We've got to make that something that everyone understands, that there's a difference between how someone feels, how someone wants to identify, and biological reality. It's the very basis of being able to have a sane conversation with other people, to be able to live in a society with other people. There are things that we have to be able to stand on as factual, and that we understand that all of us are basing our understanding of our interactions with other people on those basic facts. We are sexually dimorphic. There are two, male, female. There are differences between men and women. So yeah, finally, right? It's like they've gone so far down the road of all of this stuff in the UK and self ID and everything there. Finally, kind of someone stepping back and saying no, right? We can't violate the rights of all of these biological women to accommodate this small group of people, and allow them to invade all of these women's spaces, make all of these women feel uncomfortable. It's I'm honestly quite surprised about that decision and and how it was made. So what's Marla have to say?
Joke, what has a bottom at its top? Answer, a leg.
Nah.
By the way, I found the clip, Professor.
You found it? Okay, great.
So before I show it to everybody, I want to say this is what annoys me, and from the first second annoyed me. This is Seth Rogen, sort of, at one hand, he's kind of complaining about things that annoy him, because make no mistake, Seth Rogen isn't just an actor on this show. He is the creator, he's the writer, he's the star, he's the producer. This is very much a calculated show positioned to make Seth Rogen, on one hand, self-deprecating, on the other hand, mirroring real life, that he's sort of this producer guy. And there's something that annoys me about it. Now, I want to show you this clip, and maybe you'll understand why it annoys me. Are you with me?
Mm-hmm.
Can you see it?
I can.
Okay. They're at the Golden Globes, okay? And there's a lot of influencers. Influencers, today, like YouTubers and things like that. Now, what does Hollywood get upset? That influencers and YouTubers, they don't like a movie, and then it kind of catches like wildfire also on X and stuff like that, and it influences their movies. And, they can't push their propaganda the way they could for several years, and there's a lot of like backlash to it. So this is, to me, his reaction to that. Quote unquote humorous reaction. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Who are all these people? I don't recognize any of them.
They're influencers. Most of them don't even go inside. They just make their red carpet TikToks and leave.
Fuck is happening to this town? I remember when the red carpet for the Golden Globes actually stood for something.
Yeah, but if you don't get these phone-toting fetuses to focus on something longer than 15 seconds, all of this is going the way of DEI departments.
That would be a shame.
Oh!
Did you see that?
Mm-hmm.
It's like he's stuck in a million things here. First of all the YouTubers and the people complaining about him and saying that he's like a dum-dum and he's super woke and all that stuff. How did they sum these people up? A bunch of like stupid TikTokers.
Yep.
TikTokers are not the issue here. You know what I mean? There are some stupid TikTokers, but to try to make like people that criticize his work or him or anything, to try to boil that down into some like dumb TikTokers, the way they kind of presented here, it feels, because he's the voice here, he's the one that writes this, I understand exactly where he's going with it. You know what I mean? And then she goes, well, if you don't do this and this, then it'll all go the way of the DEI departments. And he's like, that's a shame.
Yeah.
I kind of looked at this and I'm like, this is his comedy that he's complaining about, like closing down DEI departments. What'd you say? Right, exactly.
Yeah, great joke. Great joke, Seth. Good job. Yep.
See, so once I saw that, I'm like, ugh. And I agree with Jeanette here that's saying that she likes O'Hara. I am sad that Catherine O'Hara was like recruited for this stupid show. She obviously is one of the only things that basically Seth Rogen himself has very little legitimacy. Putting Catherine O'Hara next to him actually makes him look better. So it annoys me that he brought her because I don't dislike her and I think that she is rather funny. But man, I look at that scene, I already knew where this show is going, you know? And maybe not every episode is like as annoying as this clip that we just saw, but he is who he is, and he's writing this, and he's finding his way to, like, you know, stick it to, you know, influencers and things like that. Uh, I don't know. It feels like a clever scheme to me, and I don't like it. But that's just my personal opinion. If your friends love this show,
Oh, like I said, I don't know anyone who's actually watched it. I've just read some things on
Argendum
articles and
says,
some other people.
unfortunately, O'Hara can't negate Rogan.
Yeah. You know,
Anyhow.
I barely made it through. He almost ruined the Mario Brothers movie. Seth Rogen. It wasn't full Seth Rogen, it's just a voice, but it's still. Yeah.
No, I mean, he really in recent years, it's like anytime there's a political issue, he jumps on the most extreme, like, far left. He's had situations where he's been really mean, really lashed out and mean to people, like, online, in a way that I think is, like, you know, I don't know. It's not just like you know, you had a gaffe or you got upset at 1 second. He just, like, spews a bunch of nonsense and hated people, and I just don't like that. His whole vibe annoys me.
Yeah. I am not fond of him at all. Well,
So, yeah, I guess that's it. We
About it, yep.
covered a lot of stuff today,
Yeah, a bunch of
and
different things.
had a great audience on Rumble and other platforms. If you're on
Yes,
Rumble
indeed.
again, and if you haven't signed up for the app and you're watching through the app, but you haven't signed up for Rumble, you should definitely sign up. You can do it for free. You should follow us if you haven't followed us. If you feel like giving us a like, that would be cool. And anywhere else you may be watching, you should subscribe and you should like. That would be great for us. We love hearing from you also if you want to leave more comments. And yeah. And we appreciate all the people that have been hanging out with us. I feel like every time we do this, we see some new people hanging out and joining us. And I just love this kind of late night gathering. And hopefully other people are enjoying it as well. That's all we
Yeah,
can hope for.
Hope so. Yeah.
I guess we should say goodbye to
Let's
some
shout
people.
out some names here. So first and foremost, let's make sure that we recognize Eraserhead and Adam Gray doing some modding for us over on YouTube.
Yes,
We
thank you very
appreciate
much.
that. Let's see. We got One Citizen D, Based Pepe Lord, Barbara Lawrence, Hey Babs, Boosh McFadden, Bunny Guy, Came for Tate 999, CB Van, Caleb Levine, CC Karaoke. What's up, CC? Sebrew 1138, who also gave us a super chat earlier, so we appreciate it. We also had Citizen 42, Cognitive Nomad, Dan the Commo Guy, David Chen, Desi Vibes, Dude Bro, Seth 420. Good to see you again, Dude Bro. Always hanging out here. We appreciate it. Dr. Johann Kraus, PhD. I hope you enjoy how I pronounce your name there, Johann. Igua, Elizabeth Quince, another new regular we've got over on Rumble. Facutino 93. I probably pronounced that wrong. Fractured 01, Frank Colombo, Ghost Fixter, If I Did It, Jeanette, James Caserta, Jamalama, Jimmy Nature, Jonathan Conroy, Joshua Calkins, Kivo 1961. Good to see you again, Kivo, one of our regulars on Rumble. Kelly Hans, Kalechi Oke, Long Live Liberty, Marla Sharondoff. Hey, Marla. Marks 47, Mary White, Mr. Roman, Mur Rockstro, NPC Person,
I
Orion.
always thought his name was Kalekioki, but never mind.
Is it Kalekioki? Oh, Kalekioki.
That's what I thought. That's how Tom says it, so I always just thought that.
Kalekioki. Sure. NPC Person, Orion Spectrum, Pam Hill, Panda Colima, Peaceful Moments, Phantom Monk, another regular on Rumble. We love seeing you here, Phantom Monk. Polish, Pork Sword Supreme, Argentum. Hey there, RG. Rabnod Scoobla, Sailor Dude, and my list just jumped. Hold on. Go back. Sailor Dude 2022, Sean Green, Sean Lenane, Scrooge McDuck 99, Smilex. Hey there, Otter. Steve Mod 52, Superior Nav, Tarzan 238, Terrence McSee 1234, the Abe Kane, the Dead Man, another big supporter of ours over on YouTube. We appreciate it, the Dead Man. The lovely Sherry, Tim Hayes, Tracy Alexander, Vidiot, Void King, Whalem03, We Win, Yitis, and Zonery 5. I think I got just about everybody, but we may have had a few more pop in
We
over the
got a
last
Rumble
few
rant
minutes. We
late
did
in
get
the
a
game.
Rumble rant from We Win.
Let me see if I can highlight it. We win $5. Hello, all. Hello, We Win.
Hello, We Win.
Thanks for
Welcome.
joining us. Thanks for the
Yeah.
Rumble rant. We really appreciate it. We appreciate anybody that supports what we do. Obviously, liking, following, and obviously also any kind of Rumble rant or donation. We always greatly appreciate those as well. We don't bother people for it because we want them to enjoy the experience. But when we do get them, we really, really appreciate it. So thank you very much, We Win. It's very nice of you.
Yeah, we got some support, over on YouTube as well. We got super chat from the Dead Man, as well as a super sticker with the always lovely poop emoji. Mary
Yes.
White gifted 5 memberships, and then we got another super chat from If I Did It, and another one from Sebrew 1138. So we appreciate all of the support this evening.
We do, and we enjoyed hanging out with you all, and we will do it again. Now it's Thursday, now already going into Friday, but we'll be here again on Tuesday and on Thursday, as we always are. For those who are new here, it's Tuesday and Thursday at 11:45 p.m. Eastern. I'm Price of Reason, and with me, this is my co-host, Professor R2. I'm the sock puppet, as who somebody said in the chat, and he's the intellectual robot.
The red one.
Right. And I think it was Based Pepe that said it. And thank you very much. And so fun hanging out. We'll see you guys soon. And I guess you guys have a good night.
Yeah. Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter. Bye.